do the music, and then you're off and running.
I'm ready. You don't have to fade it. You could just let it go.
Got it. Thank you. All right. Music coming in a second.
Check. If you're hearing the sound of my voice or watching this on YouTube, that means you're now tuned into chapter 103 of the Introverted Intuition podcast. My name is Jeff, a.k.a. the Petty Podcaster, a.k.a. the Ambitious Introvert. Lainey, Coco.
Hello.
How are y'all?
Good.
Well.
Shout out to CR. I had a perfect joke for CR and a new nickname for CR. I was going to get on him really bad, but he's not here, so I'll save it for next time I see him.
Okay.
I'm really disappointed about that because I thought about it all day. But we have a special guest with us, someone who I initially started following on Twitter and then Instagram. And, yeah, we just been chatting. I just appreciate her energy, her mind. And I definitely wanted to provide an opportunity to have her come share her story and her intellect and her wisdom with our listeners and with us tonight. So please introduce yourself to the people.
Hi, people. Hi, everyone. My name is Christy X, and I am a multifaceted, multidimensional being. But I'm an artist from Harlem, and I'm grateful to share this space with the Introverted Intuition fam. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
You listened before coming on, right?
Excuse me?
Did you listen before you listened to like episodes, right?
I did. I didn't hear the most recent, but I did listen.
What were your first initial thoughts when listening to the Introverted Intuition podcast?
I definitely felt the familial vibe, like that it was definitely like family oriented, that the people that were on the podcast knew one another, that there was a love for one another and a love for the work, and like great conversation, just like casual. I felt comfortable. I felt like there was comfort. It was natural. There wasn't it didn't sound as structured, and I could get with that. I could get down with that vibe.
I feel like we had that natural comfort like initially. I don't know. I don't know if we love each other. I know me and Helena beef all the time after every episode.
But that doesn't mean that you don't love each other.
Right.
You can beef with people you love, right?
That's very
I
true.
always told
pretty
Jeff I
common.
love him. Like,
Yeah.
He shows me more and more every day. Like, I see you though.
I got love for y'all. I really do.
Wow.
But
Oh, wow.
That's family.
yeah,
That's
I guess.
family.
Yeah, I consider them family. What? Y'all definitely would claim me as like I'll be a dope cousin. I think I would be a dope cousin in y'all lives, or like.
We claim you all the time as our little brother. Like that's why maybe that's why we're sitting here confused, looking at you.
Yeah,
like,
that's why I'm like
okay,
cousin.
we put it on for the
Or
camera.
brother. Oh, brother. Yeah. All right.
Like,
All right, he's like,
okay.
yeah, all right.
All right.
Whatever.
Like,
Shit.
Damn.
You are
Damn all
multifaceted.
those conversations after the show, right?
I don't want to talk after the show. I want to go home. I want to go to bed.
Wow.
Because we always end up having a
getting
therapy
deep
session.
now.
And this is perfect that you're here because I feel like our conversations, you've been like kind of like a healer in a sense. You've kind of shifted my perspective on my own life. Helena has been like my therapist and helps me get through my emotional trauma. So I feel like I don't want any questions tonight. Don't ask me anything. I don't want this to be the focus of me. I don't want
walls up.
I don't want to be the
Wow.
focus. But
Put walls up.
Why not? What's
'Cause we have a
therapy is
guest.
amazing.
we have a guest. You're the guest.
True.
The focus is on you. This is your show.
Don't do that. I'm cool with sharing space. Hey.
Where do you come? Where do you come from? What part of New York are you from?
I'm from Harlem.
Yeah.
Harlem, New York, born and raised. I'm still there. And I love it. It's the mecca for black artistry. It's God's plan. Why I was born there, right on 125th, right on Martin Luther King Boulevard. I feel that eccentricity every single day as I walk through the boulevard and get to where I gotta go. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see the street vendors, you see the community members, the churches, all the spaces that have been, gentrified, and you constantly see the shift in the community. But at the end of the day, I always say that Harlem isn't the block, it's the people. So no matter what is done to gentrify, to kind of commit that cultural genocide, Harlem is the people, not the block. So, yeah.
I love that. Harlem is the people.
Thank you.
Because Harlem does have such like a rich culture. I love Harlem and I hate Harlem in the same sentence.
Speak
I
it.
will always say that. Like, I love Harlem and I hate it too, but I love like growing up and going to the African American Day Parade. It's always around my birthday, like that weekend of September 15th or September 13th, around that time. And I just think it's a really good time. You really get to see the culture of Harlem and like that real love that's in Harlem and how people really are together, like that togetherness. And I think people don't really, if you don't know New York like that, you would think about Harlem as what you see on TV. But there's just so much more to Harlem than that.
Absolutely.
Did you feel like that that connection with Harlem like at a young age, or did you grow into that love and connection for it?
It was both. It was very multifaceted because, interestingly, I'm first-generation American. My mother and my father are from the Dominican Republic. They immigrated here in the 80s, and so they were very Dominican in Harlem. And there was always this kind of like, you're from Harlem, but you're not from Harlem. You're Dominican, and that was them, in their own internalized oppression. And I love my parents, and I love my mother, but there was always this kind of like, you're not from here, but we are from here. And so it really it's a constant battle between like embracing my Dominicanness and like my Harlemness. And it still continues to this very day because I'm very Harlem. And, my mom is like, nah, you're Dominican. And so it's an everyday thing. But I was like, literally, I went to school in PS 36, if you know, you know. I went to school at Corpus Christi in Harlem, if you know, you know. So, I'm Harlem. So.
Like that battle between your identity, like your Harlem side, I guess, that connection you have to then your Dominican side, was that like tough to deal with, like when finding yourself?
Did your parents make it hard? Because it seemed like they were like reinforcing that, remember you're Dominican before you're anything else. Was it that because they were worried about you becoming Americanized, if you will?
In that black culture of Harlem, and that you forget that you are actually Dominican?
But it's like Dominicans are black, and it's so hard because
that's
it's like,
very true. But people still don't want to admit to that. There's a lot of people who don't want to admit to that. On
it's
both
exhausting.
sides sometimes. So, but I feel like maybe in that time in the 80s, because I'm an 80s baby in the South Bronx, so I feel like it is like a maybe a protection from you also, because in my household, if I had a Spanish friend, my mother was like, well, those really ain't your friends, because at the end of the day, they was going to provide for their people. So I feel like maybe it was something everybody's telling their children, because this is like a way to protect them at that time.
Yeah, I could see it as such, but in my mind, it was like protecting me from what? Like, what do you see as so threatening about embracing blackness? Is it like that you're scared because
that they won't accept
that's what
you.
they were and that's what they were taught too.
Yeah, it's like,
and it was wrong.
Generational.
It was wrong, and that's the thing, that they're unwilling to confront their biases, and it's like, I'm not. And it's just because it's interesting, because my mom is black, and I'm not saying like passing and black. I'm talking about black, like a black woman, and she's always kind of trying to tell me like, well, you have privilege where you don't have to claim black, so why would you? And it's just like, because I am. What is this? It's still something that I struggle with. So it's like, I guess she's trying to protect me, but I also feel like you're lying to me.
Yeah. And
you're trying to make me perpetuate a lie to the world, and I'm not a liar. And so,
I wonder if it's because like it's literally advertised to not be safe. It's like it's not safe for black people in America or anywhere really. So maybe it was like a protection. Maybe
it's
to protect
more of a
you from
denial, I feel.
Yeah.
Denial than protection.
Most certainly more of denial. Yeah.
When I was using protection, I was meaning like with your friends, maybe she was protecting you from people not wanting to accept you for being Dominican and black. Because that is the reality sometimes when when you're growing up and you have your friends, you're in public school, especially in New York. It's like back then it was a lot different. Like, so if you was the only Dominican girl in a group of black friends, that's why I said maybe she was trying to protect you. Like, oh well, don't forget you're Dominican. Probably have some Dominican friends too. Like,
No, it's a fact.
That's the same shit my mother was telling me growing up. So I get it.
Yeah, I get it too. And it's also like, I get it, but get me. I get you, but get me. Like, you can tell me what you believe, but I get to define my narrative. So thanks, but no, I'm good. Like, instead of trying to tell me, use your privilege as whatever you are, like, because colorism is real. And as a light-skinned person of color, I have a privilege. So why not tell me to use my privilege to create space, as opposed to telling me to use my privilege to deny my narrative?
I hear that a lot. I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck is my privilege as a light-skinned black girl, because I don't really see it sometimes.
Really?
And I'm not trying to be funny. Like, I'm not trying to be funny
okay.
whatsoever. It's just like,
I get it.
what the fuck is my privilege? I get treated like any other black person, so I don't really see the privilege. The only thing I probably say is I don't call it a privilege. I call it a fucking ignorance. When you have like I remember my last boyfriend, his family, I guess they was more accepting of me because I was light skinned. I just found that to be laughable. Like, y'all niggas is stupid. Like, you can't be kidding me. But I think, and I don't call that privilege. I just call that stupidness.
That's a great point. It's not a privilege.
It's not a privilege. Like, there's no such thing as light skinned privilege. Like,
what is privilege exactly? Is it getting a pass on certain things because of how you look or how you present yourself to the world?
Ugly and pretty privilege. If you want to be fun, if you want to be real about it, if you're ugly, you don't get that many privileges as if somebody who's pretty. Period. Whether you light skin or dark skin.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
Damn.
I didn't want to say it, but I agree.
Yeah, I can't because I'm tired of the light skin dark skin conversations to the point where we need to start evolving beyond that. We can't just keep having this conversation because it's to the point where you have people who don't even want to acknowledge it. They still want to stand behind their curtains and ignorance. It's like, okay, if you don't want to acknowledge it, I no longer have time to make you acknowledge it. Now we just have to keep pushing forward with the message.
And that denial of like your black side from your mom, like how did that affect your relationship with her? If it did.
It still does. It still does. Just because it's kind of like a constant. It's like cognitive dissonance. It's confusing. It's like when I feel like I have it figured out. My mother. We're not talking about a regular woman, a random woman in the world. We're talking about the woman that gave birth to me. She was a single parent, so she's my main parent. Talking about that person denying me my identity. Talk about a crisis of internal oppression. Talk about like, damn, what am I really? And it's like the second you got to figure it out, you got your matriarch telling you, nope, try again. And so it's a constant, it's constant. And I recently came to the conclusion that, like, we are who we are. My mom is never going to be my best friend, but she's my ally. She's the person that gave me life, and I accept us for who we are. And I know that she has her traumas, because there's traumas to being black, there's traumas to being Caribbean, there's traumas to being an immigrant, and it's her traumas that disallow her from being able to accept me for me. So I'm like, you know what? Your stuff is your stuff, and my stuff is my stuff, and I'm going to do my best to help you heal as I heal, as opposed to just being upset, because before I used to be really upset about that, So, work in progress.
For sure. And I feel like that acceptance, I think, is what we all need. Just accept people for who they are. I feel like I have hate for people who are racist, but I accept who they are. That's just how they were raised. That's how they were trained. And I accept that they'll probably never change, but I don't have to like it, I guess. But so you are a multifaceted individual. What was like your first creative interest that struck you and you wanted to pursue?
Writing, for sure. Like as a child, because my parents weren't from here and they didn't understand American culture, their way of, I guess, protecting, and I'm using air quotes for those who cannot see, it was to ostracize us and isolate us. And I say us because I'm one of 4 in my household immediately. And so it was like no sleepovers, no parties, you can't do anything. So I was like, okay, I'm going to write because I am being isolated and ostracized from anything that could be a normal life. I was kind of raised in a bubble. So writing was my first form of finding freedom and finding my personal voice. And so I'm a writer to this day. That's like my main form of art.
Did you write about like how you felt about like that eternal struggle like with your mom, or like just that finding your identity, or what did you write about? Like just anything that was on your mind?
No, I was a fantasy writer. So like I would write stories about what I wish my life could be like, as opposed to what was. Like now I'm more real with myself, and when I journal and I go in, I write about what I'm going through. But when I was a kid, when I first discovered that I have a knack for words and writing, it was fantasy. It was writing what I wish could happen, what friends I wish I could have, like what life I wish I had, as opposed to what was, because it was too hard to confront the reality of my life. I was a child. I didn't understand why these things were happening to me, and I feel like the one way that I could kind of express and not feel hate for my life, my family, and my experience was to create fantasy worlds. So, yeah, that's what I wrote.
Has anyone in your family seen any of those writings?
Hell no. They don't care. They're not interested. And it's cool. Like, I don't have an issue with that.
Do they know that you, obviously they know that you write.
They know. Yeah. They know that I write, but.
They don't ask you too much about it?
No. Not at all.
Sometimes it's better that way.
Yeah.
I agree.
I get to have my own secret experience.
I can write about you in a whole book and put you another character. You will never be nothing wiser because you're never going to pick up and read my book. And it's just like, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And I guess you're interested in writing didn't start in school. It was just independently at home.
Independently at home. Like I love to read, and because reading was my form of escape, like through other people or through other characters' experiences, and then that transformed into writing for self. Like I wanted to be the characters in my book. So I was like, well, let me write stories about me and what I wish my life could be. I mean, looking back, I look back at my stuff and I'm like, wow. I kind of see it as like, not mental illness, but definitely like, damn, like I was really living in alternate universes in my head. Really.
But
and
as a kid, that's what
I was a kid,
yeah.
But I was also sad. I was like, wow. I was really trying to escape reality because I have the reality here in my mind, what I actually was going through. And like how, because I mean, I don't want to get too heavy, but like we were like physically abused, right? And I say abuse in a Western context because Caribbean parents don't think beating you and making you kneel on rice, and they think that that's normal. But it's corporal punishment.
Same, no? Southern parents are the same, no? Right?
As she's talking, I'm just sitting here. I'm like, okay, me and you are just like we have the same. Because
the
joke is your mother didn't want to raise you black, but she raised you black.
Yeah, exactly. They beat you.
It's the joke. Like she didn't want to raise you black, but she was a whole black woman raising you in a black household because that's exactly how I was raised from a Southern black woman who is to this day my favorite, absolute craziest lady. I have a real love-hate relationship with her to the point where it's just like, lady, just leave me alone. And not in the point where it's just like, don't talk to me ever again. It's just like, oh, you talking about that, lady? Okay, bye. Like, I just started walking away in our conversations. Like, today she was just like, you people who smoke weed and did that. Just like, okay, gotta go. Don't want to talk to you about this. Like, you still think weed is bad. Like, go away with your old self.
They think weed is like crack. I don't understand. Like, for real, they really think weed is like crack.
And I'm just like, she's like, yeah, you start weed. I'm just like,
it's a gateway drug.
Oh my God, my mother says the same thing.
I'm like,
on the weed?
I'm like, yo, people who do crack got mad issues. I'm not doing crack. Like, leave me alone. Like, it's not crack. Like,
I think it depends on the person, though, because I feel like weed can be dangerous for certain people.
Okay. And
early on for me, I was tripping.
You have other issues going on that you did, unresolved issues.
Really?
Yeah. Because the harder the drug gets, the harder you facing something. The harder the demon, the bigger the demon.
I agree, but
There's some drugs like there's party drugs that you're trying to escape. You just want a good euphoric sexual time. There's other drugs when you start hitting them shits like you smoking on a free base and shit. It's just like, well, what's going on in your world? That's when I gotta start asking people questions like.
Yeah, I guess I'm speaking for myself because I feel like weed, especially when I did psychedelics, it was easy to compare the two. Like, just drugs just hit me in a euphoric like psychedelic way.
But that's what psychedelics are supposed to do.
No, but weed does that for me too. Like, it gives me like just this euphoric feeling, like this crazy feeling. I feel like different than it may affect you.
I'm an 80s baby. I'm a crack baby. I'm born different. Like, just
you've been through all levels of the weed. You've been through the trash, like to the fire now.
Yeah, I feel like the drugs in me is different. I have a different relationship with drugs.
Yeah.
Like my tolerance, I have a high tolerance for shit out here.
Did you have any other escapes growing up besides writing, like drugs or anything? I'm not as a kid, but like as you grew up, I mean, like.
Yeah, of course. I was very codependent on drugs and men. I loved me some escape sex and some, that was college right there. Like, yeah, that's what I did. I mean, hey, I'm keeping it real because I feel like the realer the better, and somebody else will listen to it and be like, facts.
Oh, I still love me some escape sex.
I mean, it's been a minute because now I recognize it as such, so it brings a different level of awareness to what I'm doing, and it makes it like, now I'm like, damn, like now I consider like I'm using this person. Fuck.
I started to feel bad about that, but then it was just like, no.
I go back and forth.
Yeah.
When I would, like, I'd go back and forth about it, but I mean,
feel like I'm using anybody.
So
do what you got to do and take what you need, and that's it.
Is that a good escape for like our male listeners who are hoes? Be like, oh, I was just trying to escape, so that's why I had sex with all these girls. Like, can we say that?
No, that's not. I feel like if you're looking for an excuse to make, I don't know. Everybody has to know what their trigger is, what their trauma is, and why they're doing what they're doing. Yeah. I know what I was doing. Just because some of it was just straight boredom, some of it was straight boredom.
Or just human need.
Just human
like,
need.
Just human.
And I'm a very exploring person. I'm like Dora the Explorer.
I see that. I see that.
Yeah, like I know, right? Like,
no, but like she's like seems like naturally curious and just like.
I don't want to call it curious. I don't think it's curious. I just think I don't have any limitations.
like asking questions.
No, because it's just like I'm not inquisitive. Like fucking fire hot, it burns.
We know that.
I'm not inquisitive. Like, I know what shit. Like I know right from wrong, and if I still want to do wrong, I'm gonna do wrong.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
so,
that's
it's
different.
just like
That's not inquisitive.
I'm gonna keep on walking till I say, oh, that's enough.
Was school easy for you? Like between high school and college, like were you able to focus? I mean, you had that internal struggle of your identity and stuff like that. Did that affect your schoolwork and your focus?
No. I had time. Remember, because I was on lock in high school. So I had time to think about my life at home after school. So
lock down.
Lock, for reals. So no, it didn't affect my studies. Honestly, like I wasn't like a study bee. You know what I'm saying? I became that in college when I got to choose what I wanted to study in school. And that really solidified to me that I love to study and I love to know and I love knowledge. But in high school, I was that kid that was a daydreamer, looking out the window and writing poetry in my book and doodling and, you know,
playing MASH and all types of stuff.
Right, like I was chilling, but I always knew enough to be able to pass. And, you know, there were classes that I liked. I liked English, I liked history, I liked what I liked. And what I didn't like, I did the best that I could. I was an average student. And, you know, obviously Caribbean parents is never enough. You could get a 90 and it need to be a 95. You could get a 95 and need to be a 99.
I've heard many stories like that.
So I'm like, I let go of the notion of trying to satisfy my mother. Nah, lies. I did want to satisfy her, but it was just like, I didn't try enough. Because I was like,
What did you study in college?
Women's studies. So at first, my track was criminal justice because I wanted to be a detective. And then I realized that it's not my responsibility to fix a broken system that I did not motherfucking create. Sure. So why the fuck am I putting that shit on my shoulders? Nah. So then when I went to UAlbany, I changed my track to women's studies because I was like, I want to study myself. And even then, there wasn't a lot of reflection of Black and brown women's narratives within women's studies. But I was very adamant on raising my hand and saying we need to see ourselves more. And I'm proud to say that I was one of those students who advocated for more of our stories and narratives, and that ended up creating change at my school. So
that's dope.
Yeah.
We spoke about the detective thing before everyone got here and we got on the microphone, and like you didn't want that responsibility of being that social justice warrior and that just that burden of like having to change the world. Like I still kind of disagree with that because like it's a collaborative effort. Like it's not just all on you. And it's not like people are seeking that out from you, like you specifically. Just because you have that title doesn't mean you have that responsibility. I feel like if you care enough about the world and people's lives, I feel like that's just natural. I feel like if you're an empath, that's just natural. Like,
so if she was here for global climate and shit, then yeah, that's necessary. But when you want to be a detective and that whole fucking fuck system of brown and Black people and all types of shit like that, and let's say if somebody comes to her and tell her you have to put this bag on somebody or you have no more career, like that's the type of shit. Like that's the type of shit the detective faces. Like,
right.
That's a bigger. It's like you willing to go to jail for what you really like. Those are the questions.
For what
like,
I believe in.
Not in that sense, like for just your everyday beliefs, but in a system where it's just so corrupt that even if you move wrong, you get shot in the head.
Or you gotta be the one doing the shooting.
Or you gotta be the one doing the shooting. Like those, like
yeah, I guess not. Yeah.
And they're brainwashed. We forget that like a lot of these officers are trained. We think they're just soulless, but it's like no, it's taken training to desensitize these beings and turn them into soulless bots. And I know that I have a soul. So I know that it would take probably levels to desensitize me, but you know when you're the only, because I know I would be one of the only women of color, they come to you, you become the representative. Like, they want your opinion, they want your perspective. That's too much fucking pressure.
Yeah.
Too much pressure for people who don't make enough effort to understand diversity, equity, and inclusion. I don't have time for that shit. Like, I have generational curses to break. I can't do that on a detective salary. I can't do that when I don't even have time for myself. Detectives don't have lives. I know people in my life who are in that field who don't have time to have I want to have a family. All right, I'm going to have a family. I'm going to see the world. I'm going. I have mad shit to do. I don't have time to be bombarded by a system that doesn't really want to change. They don't want to change that shit. Yeah. They don't want to change that shit. Come on.
True.
No.
I want to get into they later. I want to get your definition on who they is exactly. But one of our last conversations I remember having before you went on vacation was about like freedom. Did you feel like that sense of freedom when you chose to study women's studies and do what you felt comfortable doing? And Was that like an easy transition for you, or was it kind of a struggle?
Yes. Hell yes. And it's like it made me realize that freedom is addicting. Real freedom. When you're like, oh, this feels right, and that righteous feeling, you want to chase it. You know what I mean? Like, you want it. You want to feel that. And so that was one of those first decisions that I made that was like, oh, now I know what it feels like when you're doing something for self. Because, when I chose women's studies and I told my family, women's studies, I got a lot of what's that? How you going to make money off that? How you going to help us with that? Because that's the expectation. I was the first one to go to college. And so it was like, what you expect to do with that? That's not your business. This is about me. I went to college. I didn't go to college for you. And so, I mean, I know it's fucked up, but
no, your education is for you.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a personal choice.
You share it, but that's in a different context, I think. Yeah.
And so it was amazing. It was the best decision I ever made, and I do not regret it. I do not look back. I still feel invigorated when I pull up a textbook, when I pull up literature from my women's studies classes, and I still feel those chills down my spine of like, yes. I know God was there with me.
What is some advice you would give to, this is back to school time, and like some people may be waiting to the next semester to decide what they want to do. Like, what advice would you give to someone who's on the fence about doing something they're passionate about as opposed to something that can make them money? Like,
I always say this. If you follow the money, you will not find passion. If you follow your passion, money will follow you, period. Like, do not follow money. Follow passion and money will follow you. Because it's like getting lost. You get lost in what you love, and money will come to you like a magnet of attraction.
It's like The Wire. Follow the money. You start fucking with the politicians and all types of shit. You get in bed with different people who should start being different.
It's true. But if you do what you love, the energies, like that energy of that is different. And the truth is, like, I'm not going to lie, I still haven't found that money pursuit. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I followed the passion and the money is on my back. It's not. But I believe and trust firmly that it will be and that it is. Because the thing about abundance and prosperity is that you start to see the signs of its manifestation in subtleties and little ways if you're paying attention. Yeah. But you don't have time to pay attention when you're trying to follow money. It's just not the same thing.
You miss all the signs.
You miss them. You really miss them because you're so focused on because money isn't necessarily, money is an energy, but
currency is energy.
It creates energy.
Right, it does. But my advice is do what you love, right? Like, do what you love. It's like that thing that brings passion and like that ignites the fire inside your soul, that thing that you could talk about for hours, that thing that you love so much that you could cry. Follow that. That's my advice. But do you at the end of the day. It's your money, your career, your trajectory. So
I needed to hear that when I was like going to college, because I did what was guaranteed. Like, the job I have now is decent. It's a good job, but
now it's financing your dream.
Yeah, but I'm not happy. So it's like, what's like the real what's the real like positive I'm getting from it, right?
Well, every day you have a chance to work on your happiness. Like, every day you have a chance to produce a show, put a show together, because you record once a week. So it's just like, that's just funding the bigger picture.
Yeah, I feel I should have. I definitely have regrets about college. I mean, I guess in long term, where I'm at now, if it's definitely paying for this, I wouldn't be able to do this. But I regret not following my passions sooner.
What would you have followed?
Right.
I never said this out loud. I wanted to be a chef. I actually applied to Johnson & Wales and I got in, but we couldn't afford it. So I just was like, fuck it. Yeah. And I wanted to cook. And
do you still want to cook?
No, not really. Not for like a career. Just I want to be able to cook like better and more for like my future family.
So either way, you still would have ended up right back here. So what difference does it make if you would have followed either way in college?
I feel like the trajectory, like the timing of everything, maybe the relationships I may have built and would have gained and lost. But yeah, I just feel like I agree with you. I just feel like you should just do what you love immediately out the gate and not live with any regrets like me. But so after graduating college, there wasn't an initial job lined up for you, or did you have a job lined up after college?
Yes, I did. I worked at a nonprofit. Can we say nonprofit names? I don't know if that's like copyright infringement or any kind of branding laws. Or
whatever. We'll just blame CR who's not here.
Okay.
Yeah.
CR, this was on you. So I work for Girls Inc. of New York City. Oh, cool. And yeah, I did program facilitation and I taught at inner city schools, pregnancy prevention. I did poetry, which is was my personal thing. I did a lot of STEM and STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. And it was wavy. It was wavy. But you start to see the cracks in time. The intention of all of these organizations are good, but it's then you start to understand that they're utilizing our youth as numbers and metrics, and
and it's more money in their pockets. You'd be surprised how many of those nonprofits just pocket money, or they have closets full of all the supplies the kids never see, like iPads and shit like that.
In my mind, any donation I've ever made has never gone to anywhere positive. I just because I can't prove that, but I feel that. I just feel like I've read an article about how the Red Cross was stealing money and stuff like that. And it's just what are we really donating our money to? Who's getting my $20 in my backpack?
When hurricane relief, all those things be happening. I hate to be the asshole, but I think I realized that after the big Haiti.
The Haiti earthquake.
2007. And I was just like, these motherfuckers ain't getting all this money. If everybody in the world donated $1, let's go. And that's when I realized, this is just a gimmick. Because I know I spent $20 over there. It was just most of the time I was taking money out my check. $20 to even send. My salary was nothing. And it was just and I never gave again to any.
Yeah, I saw floating on Twitter about people donating to the Amazon and the forest fires. I'm just is this even going there? People didn't even know about it a week ago. Now there's a GoFundMe up, and I'm just okay, I don't know.
Especially if the fires are intentional, it's just
yeah, it was definitely intentional.
I cannot.
To everybody, I don't really. Nobody really hits me up, but I be talking mad shit. But there's a few people who hit me up. Let me not say that.
Yeah,
so the whole Amazon fire is going on right now. Did anybody catch that Netflix special, The Green Frontier?
No.
I canceled my Netflix account.
So I happened just to catch it one of my days, chilling, lounging, because the bitch don't be doing nothing out here.
Freedom.
Yo, and I realized today how it's just funny you said that, but freedom was. I was walking over here and said, "Yo, I have so much fucking freedom in my life. It's not even funny, and I feel so good. Yeah. Don't have much in my pocket, but I feel fucking great. Okay?
Still freedom.
Freedom is abundance. Great. Freedom is wealth.
So so I'm sitting there. And it's called The Green Frontier. I'm probably saying it wrong too somehow, because I fuck everything up, people. Yeah. I do
I'm like,
I said that man.
I fuck mad names up. I fuck it all up, but it's Good Green something, but. To fucking background pictures in Amazon. Anyway, this shit was so powerful. I sat there because my friend was just, let's watch. I'm like, I don't want to watch this shit. I'm trying to braid my hair in her house, just mind my business. And she wanted to watch. She's like, no, girl, it's for you. And I'm watching. I just sat there damn, this shit. It was so deep and it was so powerful. And it made me think about what's going on in Amazon. Just some things is really not left up to us. When it's time for certain things to happen, it's time for certain things to happen. I'm not saying that was a miraculous. What happened in the Netflix shows, what's happening on Amazon. What I'm saying is, it's about that time for real change. Everybody keeps saying, well, what happened to the Jetson age? You about to see shit get pushed forward now.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
You can't be scared.
Yeah, don't be scared.
Nothing to
it's
be
just
afraid
death.
Of. What? Wait.
You're just dying. It's just,
you're going to get left behind. You scared, goddammit.
Yeah.
I used to not fear death, but then I just feel I've realized there's more ways and chances for me to die nowadays. It's more of a chance of me dying nowadays than when I was younger. I feel like because I was so ignorant to the world, and I had that security of my family. I feel like I felt safer. But now that I'm aware of what's going on, and I'm aware I could die at any moment, even right now, that's what scares me.
Death is inevitable.
It is inevitable.
It's gonna happen.
But I would like to live for as long as I can. I would like to have a legacy. So
you're gonna have it. You don't get to decide that. Yeah, God already knows. I don't know if God is part of your faith base or your structure, but I believe in God, and I believe that when God wants me out of here, God's gonna take me out. And I'm not that I'm cool with it, but I've come to accept it, and I feel like that's allowed me to kind of take more steps every day to secure my legacy. I feel like I'm a legend already. Whether my legacy is this big or it's this big, I'm legend. I already say that. I speak that. And what I've done is legend. So, don't minimize what you're legend. Look, you you have a space where you could amplify your voice and the voices of other people.
Like when you die, your podcast will live on after you.
It will live. And I had that realization.
That is your legacy.
I had that realization earlier this week. I'll get into that later. But like, does like the current climate of the country and the world affect your psyche in any way? Like, are you able to remain focused on your craft each day when you see a certain headline maybe 15 minutes before? Like, how does what goes on in the world
ignore
affect
the
you?
news?
Or do you pay attention?
I don't watch the news intentionally, but my mother is Caribbean, so she's addicted to trauma TV and like inflicting pain on herself. Just like, let me just watch trauma TV. And I try to tell her, like, Mom, it's actually statistically proven that if you watch the news in the morning, you are 27% more likely to report having a negative day, just based on watching the news in the daytime. But
you anticipate negativity in that case,
because you're basically being force-fed negativity on a kind of strategic, massive scale. But honestly, like, what I think about when these things happen is that because of my faith, I could say, like, God is the master puppeteer. So if this is happening even with Amazon, like, I believe in the Earth's ability to course correct. So it's like, I could stress out and say, this Brazilian president is a piece of shit. But it's also like, I know there's a God. So, okay, see you at the end, motherfucker. Like, we'll see what's up at the end of it all. So I really, truly try to stay grateful and to stay graceful and to focus on the things in my personal experience that I feel good about. Does it affect my work? 50-50. But it's like, I'm an artist. I thrive off the drama. I love melancholy and pain and shit. Like, I use that as fuel for my fire. So, whatever. Like, if I'm feeling any kind of particular negative emotion or whatever, I write a bomb-ass poem or, like, you know what I mean? I listen to some music. I'll cry. I'll channel that shit. I try to use it as a point of personal power.
You don't think as an artist it is your responsibility, in a sense, in a way, to, like, remain in tune as possible and, like, push that and put that in your art for other people to be receptive of it? So the ones, like, especially to the ones who aren't really as in tune or give a fuck about what goes on. Like, I feel like as even like us, I feel like we should do more to speak about what goes on in the world and like the trending topics or whatever goes on, like any headline.
The motherfucking news.
We're not the news, but I feel like for the uninformed and the unaware and the people who don't care, like I feel like that's
they don't care. So they're not gonna care whether it's coming from you.
But maybe
or
they need to hear from the right person. Maybe we need to hear from the right person. Maybe they need.
Age of the Aquarius. Okay, so
what does that mean?
Meaning, like, this is no longer. We can no longer baby feed anybody. Nope. We can no longer spoon feed anybody. If people are choosing to deliberately and blatantly ignore seeking out common knowledge and doing their own research and really figuring out what's going on in the world, then at this point it's just like you can't persuade them.
Voluntary ignorance is a choice.
People choose to stay asleep.
Some people choose to stay asleep because it's like there are a lot of woke people out here. My air quotes is a lot of woke people out here, but I feel like the people are not woke because even in that division, there's still a lot of divide. Like in that unity, there's still a lot of divide. Like the natural hair community say, "Oh, you're not natural if you always protective style your hair." So it's a lot of bullshit within everything. So until then, you're gonna be fucking talking to your blue in the face.
Yeah, you're gonna exhaust yourself and like.
So if you really feel like your sole responsibility is to carry on the sins of everybody in the world as if you were Jesus,
I was about to say you ain't Jesus.
Already did that for you. Then you have a God complex that's something way beyond deeper than we can even help you with, because that's nobody's job. Because that job was already done.
Especially you as a man of color. What are you doing? That's not, you didn't create these systems.
If you feel like you're the girl from the Fifth Element and you're supposed to lead us to salvation and you got the key to the voice and to the blocks and the bitch and the alien with all that shit, then let's lead us away, baby.
Yeah.
But if not, then there's no need for all that.
But I definitely don't have a God complex. Like I feel like I've the complete opposite of that. But I just feel like maybe sometimes it's not the message, it's the messenger. I feel like people are receptive to people they can relate to, and they're more willing to listen to people they give a fuck about and who they follow actively. So that's what I'm saying. So maybe I just feel like people who listen to us, even outside of America, like we just got new listeners in the fucking like Netherlands. Maybe they don't know exactly what's going on in the Amazon right now. So maybe I feel like maybe they need to hear what's going on so they could possibly be inspired to help in any way they can. That's all I'm saying. If that makes sense. You're still anti what I'm saying?
No, I swear I just be listening to you. Like if you know me, you know me, and you know why, and that's it.
Okay. What are you doing currently? creatively, professionally? Do you have a title? Do you have a position that you hold?
I consider myself a freelance project manager. That's what I does. And I say that because my multidimensionality stems out in so many different ways. I'm doing right now a decluttering project for a family in Brooklyn where I'm helping them declutter their space, throw away old, bring in the new. I'm working at Columbia University. Today I had a part of the gig, which was like to lead a self-awareness professional development for their school of social work students. So like in a week I'm going to like Connecticut for this like pilot TV audience thing, you know, like people who like go on these shows and like they're in the audience. You could get paid for that. So I have many different gigs, many different hustles. So I call myself a freelance project manager because that's just what I do. And I love it because I get to decide. I wake up when the fuck I want to. I sleep when the fuck I want to. And I don't really feel stressed just because like,
I imagine, yeah.
Like my life is chill and I'm still bringing in abundance, kind of like I was telling you earlier. Like I've been making money. Like the second I surrendered and I said, you know what? Bless you. The second I surrendered and I said, you know what? This is who I am. It's like God opened the floodgates for all the things that could possibly happen in my life. And like my money's not looking the way that I wanted to, but it's like all these little things are kind of like the momentum building of me knowing it's gonna be that. So
everything lining up.
How do you?
Yes.
You about to say something? How do you decide like each day what you want to do? Is it just a feeling, or is it based off a schedule of like, because you are multifaceted, so you have multiple things you're doing like each day, each week. How do you decide what you want to work on?
To be honest, I really do believe that I should implement more of a structure. And that's just me recognizing that I do love the free flow, but at the same time, there's nothing wrong with structure. And like, as a Libra, I believe in divine balance, but I haven't been balanced. I've definitely been more comfortable in the flow. What?
Oh, God.
Oh, she's fine. She's cool.
Oh, so I'm not? Yeah. I'm the problematic Libra with the Scorpio moon.
That's all you had to say. Scorpio moon.
I still don't know exactly what that means. Like,
well, your moon sign is who you really are authentically,
yes.
And your sun sign is how you show off, how you show up in the world. So you show up in the world as your performance as a Libra, but who you really are as a Scorpio. And I see that.
Wait.
Right?
What do you see,
I
though?
see it.
Okay.
I see that. I see your Libra and your Scorpio kind of like battling.
Oh, we just...
I'm sorry, but I really do. Like, I see the little, the subtleties. I see even now. I'm sorry, but like, I'm sorry, but like even this and like it's like you want to perform Libra harmony. That's how you are. But you're Scorpio, like
you want to be a Libra
you get tight.
to the world, but in reality, like you're a Scorpio. And if you know who is Scorpio, you know a Scorpio, you know what a Scorpio is and what they're about. Then like.
You know a Scorpion. It's like, and it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like Scorpions. So I have an Aries moon, and I love that shit because Aries and Libra are literally polar opposites. So I have the perfect juxtaposition of the Libra, which is the harmonious person, but I also have the Ram of Aries, which is like aggressive and like, you know, super masculine and fire and air. So I love that shit.
I got to do more research on Scorpios. I don't know anything about myself, apparently. I have to go look into the mirror with Google open Scorpio information.
As he says that, but he knows.
Do your natal chart.
Yeah.
Wait, what do I know? What do I know? Tell me what I know.
You know who you are. You did like you did that shit when you talked to yourself in the mirror and you had a whole open arms conversation. Like, you know who you are.
Right.
You know exactly
He's
what
like,
you're
about.
about.
I remember that.
Yeah, like you know what's up.
Yeah.
It's up to you to want to be like Mike. Not want to be like Mike in general, but that was just a song in my head just then, so no funny shit.
Is there one thing that you do that you're more passionate about than the other, or is it all equal?
Oh, I love to be. That's my passion. I'm going to get paid to be. Like I say that. The art of being is me.
I just told myself that this week. I'm going to get paid to be, like, and that's been working for me.
That's an affirmation. Like, me saying that and you saying how we're affirming each other in that because facts. Like, there's people who literally get paid to be. And I'm like, that's me as fuck. Like, within the realm of my multidimensionality, I'm going to get paid to be able to be all the things that I am. So I love to be.
Like Oprah. I know you love Oprah. I know you love Oprah.
Do you know? Did you study
We-
or like?
we read.
Okay, I'm like, you freaking me out right now.
I know you love Oprah.
I
Yeah,
do
we-
love Oprah.
Sometimes
That's
we
like-
do research on our guests.
Okay.
Yeah, you have a nice newsletter.
Oh yes, thank you. It's my
Oh yeah,
it's an
sometimes
e-magazine.
definitely for me because I don't always do research, but today we did. Today I did
Thank
because I was
you.
interested.
Research, even when
I ain't
it's
gonna
super
lie,
quiet.
the majority of the guests that we had, I've definitely just looked at like 3 posts and I was like, I'm good. Like I know I have enough, and I just drawn the conversation out from there. But it's all worked out. They
Scandalous.
all they love us. They want to come back. They want to work with us continuously.
Thank God.
It's all good. What you mean?
I'm just saying.
I hold this ship together. Okay, we're good. We're fine. We're floating. We're good.
You're the captain.
Absolutely.
He's a cat. He tried to boat, baby.
Are you so? Would you also consider yourself like a therapist in a way? Because I mean, I feel like we had some deep conversations that you brought, and you brought information out of me that I haven't really shared openly. Is that one of your titles as well, or is it healer?
I don't know what it is. I honestly feel like I have this ability to like, because of the fact that I don't hide things about me, people feel that that desire to want to be vulnerable. Like I'm not afraid to tell you my brokenness, my greatness. I'll tell you everything. I don't care. You see, I just talked about how like sex was one of my like I don't. Some people will be like, oh my god, like how could she say that? I'm like, I don't care. That's part of my art of being. So like,
I don't care.
I don't.
I don't give a damn.
It's very freeing.
Oh, you said
Yeah.
September,
I wish I didn't
October.
care.
Huh?
You said September, October.
October.
Oh, it sucks. I wish you was September.
Why?
'Cause
I
it
would have
just
been Virgo.
validates more. Yeah.
Oh, Virgo
Validates-
cusp?
Yeah, for more that Virgo cusp. Like,
Nah, October straight up.
October
but
what?
12.
12. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, like I like to help others, but I've distanced myself from calling myself anything because I'm like, labels, I don't want to label myself because a label is a box. And fuck a box. I am not able to be confined. I'm not a box, I'm a circle. There's no end, there's no beginning. It's just cyclical. It continues, it never ends. Like, that's just me. So I feel like people look at me, or even we didn't look at each other,
Right.
but you felt that vulnerability in me being like, it's that nakedness. Like, I like nakedness. I like real. You know, I'm going to tell you how I feel, and I'll deal with the consequences of it after the fact. But, like, you're going to get all of me. You're going to get me. And I feel like that gives people permission to be them.
You've never been the complete opposite, though, like an overthinker, like not really as vocal, or have you always just been this way? Because I feel like I'm transitioning into, you're where I want to be. I want to be free with my words and how I speak and my existence.
let that Scorpio come out.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard, yo,
Stop
because
restricting
It's
yourself.
true.
be
You see how
trying
you
to-
were literally like
Yeah,
this?
holding
like,
yourself
you're trying
back.
to
it's
be-
cold in here.
But I told like you always
You
like
a
you're trying to be
liar.
Mr. Nice
You a
Guy in
liar.
a sense, but it's
Stop
like
it.
if you're not like really a nice guy, I don't mean like he's not a nice guy, people, but you know what I'm trying to say like that. Good boy next door. If you're not the good boy next door, you're really the bad boy on the motherfucker.
Then be the bad boy.
on a motorcycle. I'm not gonna say the block. I don't think you're a bad boy
The
on the
block.
block.
Definitely not on the block.
You're the bad boy
Definitely not on a motorcycle.
Then yeah, like a grease moment. If that's who you are, then be that. Like be that John Travolta, but stop hiding behind this Duncan Pendercue motherfucker that's not there.
It's
So-
really just being.
Yeah.
Like, just be. There's no
he's
formula.
there. I mean, that's-
I've
he's
been
not
told
there.
him to
He's there.
meditate, but he won't do it.
Well, maybe that's not part of how you be. And that's cool. But figure out what being looks like for you and do that. There is no equation. I can't tell you, you know, meditation plus, you know, masturbation equals being. It looks different.
Yeah.
It looks different for everybody.
Right,
That
yeah.
looks
But
pretty
that
good to me.
combination may help.
That may work.
That's-
And that was just off the dome,
See?
right?
Masturbate
look,
with
she added something
intention.
great.
I
Masturbate
honestly
with
think she's like a
intention.
rapper as well, but I don't think you're ready to admit it. You got bars.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have
We
you
talked
considered?
about that.
Yeah.
I love music. That's going to be part of my being. But like I said, I try to go with the flow.
But hold up though. Like, have you were you always like this? This free?
So
person?
keep it a stack? No. I didn't allow myself to be free because remember, I grew up restricted. Like my mother and her fear-based mentality and her fear-based narratives made me very scared. Like I was the eldest, so I was the first experiment. Like, you know, like in Lilo and Stitch, there was number 1, right? And then experiment 365, I was 1. And so all of the mistakes were made on me, and a big mistake that I feel like was made was implementing fear, making me scared. And so my reaction to that when I was able to free myself, which was in college, when I could no longer be restricted, was to be like, I want to do everything, I want to be everything, I want to try everything. And even if I'm scared, I'm going to do it afraid. And then it's like a building of the habit. I'm doing it afraid, I'm doing it afraid, I'm doing it afraid. 6, 7, 8 years later, I'm still doing things afraid, but I'm less afraid. And so it shifts, right? Like now I'm just like, I do still sometimes feel fear, but I still let myself go there. So it's definitely a work in progress. I can't be like, oh, I'm just free. That would be a fucking lie.
Yeah.
And I feel like anybody who will come up in here and tell you, oh, no, I'm just free is a lie.
We've been
because this is a fear-based society.
Mm-hmm.
We're taught fear.
No,
okay,
yeah, no.
okay. No, I was gonna say like we're taught fear.
We are taught fear, like, but I feel like there are some people who do get to the level of where they're just being and they're
fearless.
Absolutely free and fearless.
Agreed. I agree.
It's not everybody out there like that who's that lucky. Like
It's
Erykah
true.
Badu, I feel like she's free and fearless. Like,
oh, I love her.
and even with 4 baby fathers, no disrespect, and I mean that in the highest, but that's my only. But it's just like that is fearless as fuck. Like that's a whole goddess right there. She just knows it. She knows like she should never be contained to just one person, just one love in her lifetime.
The first time I saw her live was at the Meadows 2 years ago, and I swear, like a rainbow only came out for her performance. As soon as she was done, it went away.
Wow, that's that magic.
That's power, real.
And I was just like,
she's a unicorn.
so being, you're the oldest, right?
Yeah.
Oldest sibling. You had to naturally step up to that leadership role. From your perspective of your siblings, did they go through similar experiences that you did with your mom and like finding their identity and stuff like that? And if they did, if you did notice that, did you guide them into helping them find their own form of freedom?
Yes and no, because I feel like when you're a first and you're an eldest, there's a lot of ego there of like, you know, I'm the first, you know, it's me, you know what I mean? I'm the OG. But the reality is that was ego. And so once I kind of fell from my grace, I started to see them as equals as opposed to seeing them based on their age. And so, yes, they did go through similar experiences, but I feel like my siblings showed me bravery that I did not have the courage to have. They did things that I was too afraid to do because it was also that perfectionism in me. So I relate to that, wanting to be perfect, like wanting to be my mom's coveted first child, even though I never got her approval and I still have never gotten it. So I feel like it was the opposite. They kind of taught me how to be free, and they're still teaching me how to be free because there were so many things that I didn't allow myself to do that they got to do. They weren't afraid to fall. I didn't want to fall because I didn't want to bruise my knees. I didn't want to look stupid. I didn't want to look, but that was all based on other people. So, yeah, their processes taught me how to be free. And so, like, in a lot of ways, I'm the eldest but the youngest. I'm still a baby. I'm still crawling, and they're walking. And so, yeah.
And you never thought to speak to them as opposed to writing in your diary about, like, what was going on in your life? And
we did speak to each other, but there's just different levels of complexity. The beauty of me being, like, a book nerd was that I had this internal process that made me so, like, I created my own inner intellect that they kind of didn't have. Like, I was very complex, and they were differently complex. Like, they were more simple. And it was also, like, I didn't want to re-traumatize. My fantasy world was, like, to help create a fantasy world for them. I wanted them not to have to go through what I went through. I didn't want them to have to be re-triggered or re-traumatized or anything like that. So, no, I would really try not to talk about. And on the other hand, like, we would play teacher, we would watch, you know, TV, we would create fantasy worlds together so that we wouldn't have to deal with the trauma. Like, that's how we coped. They were coping mechanisms. I can see that now as a grown woman, but as children, you don't know you're coping. You just think that you're doing what kids do. And
you never had like a honest, like, drawn out conversation with your mom about how you felt?
Yes, she denies it. She denies it. She's like, I did what I had to do. You know, that's the narrative. She's legit a black woman. She doesn't want to admit it for the life of her, but that's her. I did what I had to do. You don't know what it's like to be a single parent. And you know what? Like I said, coming to this point of acceptance is my way of saying facts. I don't know. And I would never know because I'm never going to be in that position that you put yourself in by having kids with a man that would never showed you early that he wasn't able to commit to you or to your children. And I love my dad, but I love him as my father, not as a man. And there's a difference. And so I try to have the conversations. And, like, for me, it's like, that's enough. Like, God forbid, like, you know what I mean? Like, if they pass, I'll be all right. You know how some people have those regrets of, like, I never talked to my parents. I never tried. I'll be like, if something happens to them, God forbid, I'll be all right because I know I tried, even if I didn't get the closure. Because sometimes I feel like closure is such a whimsical dream. And it's a fantasy, too. Like,
it's not real, though?
Nah, not every time. Not every time. For some situations, closure is possible. But for other situations, it's like you have to admit that closure could sometimes be a two-way street. I don't think my mother is ever going to allow me the closure because she's not ready to admit within herself that she fucked up.
How's your relationship with your grandmother?
She passed when I was like 7 years old, so I didn't really get to have a true grown relationship with her. So.
You have any aunties? So, like, do you speak to them about your mom? Like, do they let you in on family secrets of, like, how she grew up and everything like that? And
yes. Yeah, and that's how I know that she's always been the same way. You know, they say, like, people don't change, and the older they get, the more stubborn they are. It's like, I see that. Like, my mom had us older. My mom is in her 60s. So it's like, I don't have expectations for her. Like, I accept the small changes that she makes because I know those are hard. I'm starting to see the decay, right? You start to see how age has an effect on your parents. And so I'm like, you know what? You know, okay, I accept what you're willing to give, even if it's this much, and I know you could give more. I'm okay with what you're gonna give, with what you can give. So, and it's like I know that who she is based on her traumas, because some people don't let them go. Some people make traumas part of their story, and they don't want to release them.
It's part of them at some point,
right? And it is, but I feel like they can make you or break you, and I feel like my mom has done both. Has allowed them to make her and break her, and yeah. But it's like I also love her. It's so weird, like how you could love somebody and like really dislove somebody.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's why I say it's like a love and hate. Because I don't hate my mother,
right?
But I understand everything. Like not everything, but I understand who she is, why she is. Because once I figured out who my family was, going back a few grandmas, it was just like, oh, okay, so we're kind of just fucked up, ain't we? Like this is just the narrative. Heard you, got you. Like we are not emotional. I'm not gonna hug you. My mom has. I don't know. Hugs is like she was like if she was standing here right now, I would be like, yeah, she hugs me because she's like, I said, goddamn, Ma, you know I hugged you. Like when after you whipped my ass.
Don't tell people I don't hug you.
Right.
Like don't tell people. But you know that's how a lot of us grew up in New York, and I don't think people really realize that. And I don't want to say New York. I think in that time of if you are grew up like maybe 76 to 93, there's a good chance you was in a real unemotional home because people didn't know how to deal with their emotions. So everything was, I gotta work. So if you was even lucky enough to have parents who knew that the least they can do for you is work to provide, to put clothes in your back, a roof for your head, food in your stomach, and send you to school so you can be better than them. Because that was what they was always trying to tell us, be better than me, without ever having to say it. Because it's just like, I don't want to discredit. They didn't want to discredit themselves because they knew they was doing all they can. Because they're also going through their own generational curses and their mental their mental chains brought up from their families and their grandmothers. Because a lot of times, and those, the women from their 60s to 80s now, their mothers didn't even raise them. Their grandmothers raised them. And people don't realize that. And great-great-grandma was a whole other bitch. Like, that was like the mega bitch of mega bitches you had to get through. Like, once you beat the little Cooper troop, you got to beat big Cooper. So it was just like, that was who great-great-grandmother was, in a sense, for a lot of our black mothers. So any daughters listening to this, black women listening to this from the ages of, I want to say, maybe 25 and up, try to understand the other side. I'm not saying you have to like it. I'm not saying you have to I would love for you to forgive it. I'm not saying you have to accept it, but you have to respect it.
Acknowledge it,
Because it is what it is and it's there. So it's just like a lot of us do have like a mother tale, a mommy issue, because especially if you're a black woman, it's just like, thank God if your mother never beat your ass. Like, miracle. But if she did, it's not that she didn't love. It's not that she loved you any less.
It didn't feel like it at the time.
At the time, at the time, it didn't feel like it.
So, right.
But it was just like that was her way of like, because the Bible told her, "Spare the rod."
Death close is her way, really?
I'm not gonna lie. Like my mother has choked the shit out of me many times. Like, I don't want to die in here on this kitchen floor.
Oh my Lord!
What did I do?
Like Bart Simpson style. For real.
But it was just like, like the shit I used to go through with my mom, and like when I look at her now, I be like, yo, you ain't really mean it, but your ass is crazy too, though. Like,
crazy.
But we don't talk about that.
Like you
had
a little moment in the head, but I get it, and I want us as black women and daughters, sisters, cousins, aunties, understand it. I'm not saying we have to like it, but at least try to understand and respect it. And cut them some slack, because you don't know especially if you don't know what they really had to go through when they was growing up.
Their traumas,
Their traumas and the shit like they was going through, like, you never know. So just even to the men, ask those questions. Like, I know a lot of black men who feel a hatred or a dislike towards black women because they seen their black mom get beat. And they were just like, why would she let some man beat her? Well, maybe she was taking those beatings so this nigga want to beat your ass. But y'all don't think about it that way. It's just like, but she let this man degrade her because in her head that was like, you know.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say.
And it's also like that, like what I've been telling myself. I'm in therapy now, and I'm hella happy. And I say that because I recommend it to everyone. Get you a therapist. Stop relying on your friends. They don't want to hear your motherfucking problems.
They sure don't.
Like deadass, get you somebody licensed and clinical who can actually give
impartial, right?
Right, yeah. Paid, who is doing the work and who can help you. And what I've been telling her is that I'm thankful now. I flipped the script. Before I used to be upset about what I went through as a kid and abuse and like being, beat and like, emotionally abused and like verbally abused. And I'm like, you know what? I'm glad that I have this story because there's so many people who fake struggle. Like, I'm tired of fake struggle ass motherfuckers, like fake struggling, trying to create problems, trying to create what they say, like molehills out of.
Oh
yeah,
I remember that saying. I know what you mean.
Right.
Yeah, mountains out of molehills.
Mountains out of molehills, right? And I'm like, you know what? I really went through shit. And I know it kind of it's weird to flip the script on myself, but I'm like, you know what? I'm thankful that I went through shit because I don't have to fake it. No. I've been through it. My shit is real. I don't have to have no fake creating drama out of little shit for nothing. Like, I really went through it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm thankful that I have something. My test for my testimony.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's how my way of saying, thank you to my family. Thank you to everybody who hurt me, who caused me pain, because my book is going to be juicy. That shit gonna sell. So
I'm sitting here like thinking about like my own relationship that I have with my mom. And for the longest, I feel like she just never understood me. Like, the logo of the podcast is a black sheep, and that's what I always looked at myself as in my family. I just felt like no one in my family just understood me, or even in my mind tried to. And like, my father wasn't around for whatever reasons, and I feel like in a way that kind of ruined my relationship with my mom, because I feel like we just never really talked. We never had like. And the times we did talk growing up, I feel like it was her yelling at me for not doing my schoolwork because I wasn't a good student, because I just didn't care. I felt like it was too easy. And like, just thinking about our relationship now, it's still kind of like that. I'm fine with like not talking to her for like 3 months. It's like, or like not. That's like it just dramatized, but like, like a few weeks. Like, I'm fine with like not answering her texts, and it's just like I'm trying to figure out why that is, because she never really did anything wrong to me. I mean, she worked a lot when I was a kid, and my grandmother kind of did most of the raising for me, or for us, and or whatever. And
do you resent her for not being there?
I don't know though, because like I remember her being around, but maybe not as much as I
being
wanted.
Around as often.
Yeah, I don't know though. Like, maybe I like kind of suppressed it so deep that I'm not even aware anymore. But I actually am going to have my mom on the podcast next month. I actually really want to have an honest conversation with her about our relationship, because I want to improve that. And I'm like the opposite of you. Like, I wouldn't be okay with my family members dying and me not having at least a solid relationship with them before they go, because I feel like I spent so much time in my own world, in my own universe, and just doing what I want to do with my life and not really allotting the time for my family the way I should. I feel like I would feel extremely regretful if they passed and I didn't have that closure, that opportunity to at least show them that I care and that I'm
you have
grateful.
To say it every day.
I do, and I'm working on that. I'm not as expressive. It's weird. I'm so expressive with my friends and other people in my life, but not my family. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know why. Like, I don't hate them. I have no hate in my heart for my mom. I love her so much. She listens to every episode. This podcast will never sync because we'll always have one listen from her. But it's just, I don't know. Maybe I need to do some more reflecting on that. I'm actually about to get back into therapy as well.
Good job.
Because I need it. What was your perspective on therapy before going into it? Did you feel you were just paying someone to care and hear you out, or were you open to the process like almost immediately?
I mean, it shifted when I was younger, way younger. I was one of those like, oh, psychology is a myth. Fuck out of here. That's not. But that was my own resistance, and I definitely saw it as such. Now the paradigm has shifted, and I see it as a privilege. I'm like, it is a privilege that I have access to this. It is a privilege that I have insurance that covers this. It is a privilege that I'm in a country where this field is normalized, when I know that there's places in the world where people don't have access to this. And so it's more of like me recognizing my privilege as an American. And I recently did some travels where I'm like, it really hit me that, yes, there's a lot of ugly about being an American, but it is such a privilege to have that blue passport. It is such a privilege to be from here, especially because, like, I am a Latina. And I'm an Afro-Latina, so there's African descent in my lineage, but I'm a Latina, and I'm seeing so many Latinos, people that I know, undocumented, living in fear, like, what it means to be American, and, like, me being like, I'm taking advantage of everything, and telling everybody, like, yo, take advantage of whatever you get, like, whatever you can get access to. So
you're proud to be an American, or are you just happy for the benefits of being one? Or...
Right. I don't proud to be an American. Not yet. I don't feel like I've done enough with my American privilege to say that I'm proud to be an American, but I'm definitely cognizant of the privilege that I have as an American citizen in the world. And I'm gonna pimp that shit out. Like, I'm going to utilize those privileges because I haven't been. I definitely was more of like, I'm American, and then not even recognizing how fucking foolish that was. Yeah. Trying to, like, you know, shrug my shoulders to that, and just not even recognizing how stupid it was for me to think like that. I was upset about my Western status. Like, bitch, are you serious? You know how many people are literally dying every single day
just to get here? As much as corrupt as corrupt as America is, like, it really still is the land of the free in a sense for a lot of people, because where they come from when they come here, they don't have, like she said, any rights. Like, no, people can't even be on the damn internet the way we on the internet here.
Speak it.
You can't even look at porn. You can't even hold your husband's hand in some places in public.
Hell no, yeah.
Kiss them or anything. Like, just show general affection and love for somebody you're with. So it's just like, yeah, sometimes we do take for granted the little shit that we do here. Like, especially in New York, you can curse somebody out.
New York.
And go about your day like as if you did nothing, or like, you ain't just tell somebody go suck it, like.
Real talk. New York is one of the most liberal states in the country. So
you can tell a cop "fuck you" and keep it moving. He'll look at you like.
I wouldn't recommend that, but yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it. Like,
don't go
you can do
disclaimer.
Yeah.
But it's just
don't
like
do that.
One of those things like New Yorkers do. Like, I've seen it done. Like, especially white people, they be the first one cursing everybody.
The best ones are when the cops curse back. Those are the best ones. I witnessed that a few times. It was fabulous.
And they do.
They get into that mode of like who they are without the uniform on, and they just want to square up with you, like.
Because they're still New Yorkers. Like, let's keep it 3 stacks.
And maybe that's why they're so fucked up, too. Because it's like New Yorkers, as much as I love us, we are corrupt. We're natural-born hustlers.
Corrupt. We're crazy. Anything
finesse
pisses us
the
off.
Fuck out of you.
You can't walk.
We could have just came from yoga, and then somebody will fucking bump us. What the fuck is wrong with you?
If you ain't walking at an acceptable pace, you getting barked on.
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
Like, if I'm on a train, I say, excuse me,
you want to cut in front of me?
Still don't move. All right, move, bitch. Like, I done said, excuse me, nice. Like, now you got to move the fuck out the way. Like,
move.
This is what happens.
Move.
Like,
the fuck?
Word.
You don't see me coming, goddammit.
Exactly.
They really don't, but yeah, they should.
Like, right side is down, left side is up. Like, follow fucking directions.
They act like they don't see you coming. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Sounds about
right?
Sounds about white.
Don't see you coming.
You just did some traveling recently, right?
Yes, I did.
Where'd you go?
I went to Spain and I went to Paris. I went to Madrid and I went to Paris. With my
Wasn't
mom.
the Mona Lisa trash? Be honest.
It wasn't trash. Like, it wasn't trash. It really wasn't trash. I felt empowered by being in that space. Because I'm like, you know what? All these white folks is traveling mad far to see this woman. And that's how I felt. That's how I felt. I'm like, yep.
Okay, we
Mona
look at it from
Lisa
that
is
lens.
An OG feminist. Okay,
but
she's a feminist.
The actual shit, it's not even that big. I thought it was bigger than what it is, but it's like you got to huddle over. And it was like when I was there, it was like crowds of people.
Yes,
you had to fight to get even a photo of it.
I would imagine.
Yes. However, my mom said something that for me I loved because I'm an artist, and she was like, "Do you think Leonardo da Vinci would have thought that this was gonna be what the Mona Lisa was gonna turn into?" And it gave me like a chill because I'm an artist, and we are artists in our own ways. Think about you. Someday, would you like people to be able to, let's say like Introverted Intuition, the podcast is available in some kind of audio museum, and people are lining up in thousands and thousands and thousands to come listen to your stuff. Would you not want to be, like, would you not want that? Like, Da Vinci would have probably never thought when he painted that painting that it would have such an impact on people.
That's probably why it turned out as good as it is, I guess.
Because the intention and what he did. So for me as an artist, I'm like, hell yeah, I want swarms and swarms of people to come and do that.
I feel like not to be the one who always has to go against the grain. For some reason, I do feel like Da Vinci knew what he was doing when he created his art.
Why?
You're an artist. Like, when you are an artist, you do, like, when I sit down to write something and I put pen to paper, or whether I put the camera in focus and I'm behind the lens, I want to provoke an emotion out of you. So either way, I'm going to get that done. Like, that's my main goal. When I create, my main goal is to provoke emotion. Whether I want you to cry, whether I want you to feel sad, or whether I want you to go in and reflect, I want to provoke something out of you, and I feel like that's exactly what he did.
Were people as open-minded back then, or were people as accepting of art back then? Like,
I feel like back then with all those people like Plato's and Socrates, and like, hell yeah, it was a free. There was a room of free thinkers who were different than everybody else, and they were their own secret club and secret members. And that's Da Vinci was in that club. I think people was mad at him because he let out some of the secrets of that club, of the world's metaphysics and all types of shit. Like, they were in their own little fucking secret club, like their own little fraternity and brotherhood, witchery club, sorcery club, however you want to say it. Like, witches were around. So like, magic is something that birthed the earth, I want to say, but I don't want to take any power away from God for those people. But it's always been around, and it's in your face, and I feel like creators bring it forth every day.
I actually agree. Thinking about it, like, if you even think about the fact that you can't get so close to the Mona Lisa, it could be because there's some kind of secret inscription. There's something that you can see close up that they don't want you to see. Because, like, there's a mystery in her eyes. Apparently.
I feel like that's what he knew what he was doing when he created the Mona Lisa. Even when there's parts of the go ahead, what you about to say?
No, I was gonna say, y'all never heard the rumor that Mona Lisa is actually the painting of a man.
My mom said that. She's like, we don't know if it's
back
a she or he.
Allegedly, that's why she smirks, because it's actually a man. Allegedly,
and
I have
no
idea
case,
if that's true.
Then, like, thought-provoking, like, that's what he set out to do, like, and that is why that thing is so famous. And it's just, and I don't think that's just his most famous work. I feel like he's famous for a host of different things. So it's just like, and he did what he said to do: provoke emotion, provoke thought into the human's mind.
Is that a goal of yours, to have a form of your art represented in a place like that? Well, not like that, but like in that form of, like,
she just said she want mad people coming to see
her.
Oh, you do? Well, okay, so which outlet of your art would you like that to be? Your writing, your words?
Everything that I commit to in terms of art will have its own Mona Lisa effect. And I speak that into existence by saying it right now. Like, I feel like, remember even when we were having conversations and you were like, yo, the way that I spoke, there was something about it that was intriguing to you, that you felt captivated by. Yep. It's like, yes, because, you know, abracadabra literally means, you know, I manifest, or I create as I speak. So I create as I speak. I live abracadabra. I am abracadabra. Even as I walk, like, it's weird.
Bitch, I'm magic.
I love that saying too. So.
Yeah. No, like, I create as I speak. I create as I am. I create. Even, like, in the world, I'm a New Yorker. You know, there's a lot of people in New York. But I feel like even when I walk into the world, when I walk into a space, it's like I have my own vibration. Like, we all do. But, like, I'm that bitch, right? Like, and I say that humbly, but also, like, powerfully. Like, I dare to know and to say that I am that I am. So I know that whatever I create is going to manifest that. And I dare anybody to question me saying that I am that bitch. And like, that's the level of power you have when you make that statement. Also, it's just like, I am who I am that bitch. Like, humbly and respectfully, but respectfully, I am that bitch. Real talk. I mean, think about it. We were chosen. Like, in a way, we are all that bitch or that dude.
We are, yes.
We are, because it's like the chance of us being alive right now is like, I think 1 in like 6 trillion, because even if you think about the fact that you were the sperm that met with your mother's egg to be you, it could have been any other genetic combination, but it was you. You were chosen. You know which
one I like better? That made. We choose our parents. Like, when we're just
that being the vessel versus us being the spirit, and like, we choose that avenue, and when it lines up,
before they get pregnant, like, we choose to walk into that. When we choose to walk into that,
I literally remember that. I remember my earliest memories are me choosing my mother, like the angels talking to me and saying, "All right, why are you choosing her?" And I said, "Because she needs unconditional love." because I realized her. So I always grew up knowing that my mom had trauma and that she would inflict that trauma onto me. But then in the end, in her passing, I helped her transition and hopefully transition where she wasn't going to wind up repeating, you know, those same issues, her fears, in other words, or living in her fears. So hopefully, I mean, I feel like she's, you know, transitioned and I get signs from her. So, but I came in knowing that that's who I'm choosing. And this was, I do remember that. I didn't remember what would happen throughout the path, but I do remember that that was a conscious decision at the time. Like I was given that choice. We all were.
I'm blown away right now. Cause like, wait, how do you like? What was that moment like? Mm-hmm. Like, was it
the moment of them? That's the only brief moment that I remember. But them, just the angels, I would say, as them, just asking me, well, why are you choosing this particular person, this vessel, this person to come into this current life for? And I remember saying because she needs unlimited, unconditional love. And then I went through. It was almost like through a tunnel. Like it grabbed me, pulled me through, and I remember being born. And then my next memory was me in a crib, like walking around, like, you know, in a room.
I have
crib
memories.
Mm-hmm, crawling.
But I don't have
crawling to my parents.
Because if they ask me why I chose the fuck up I chose, no, Lord Jesus, my rest in peace to you. But you know who you is. And I say like that because my biological mother passed away, and this is how I speak to her as my guardian, as my guardian. So it's just like, girl, like, but I wish I could remember the thought process of what I had before I walked into that woman's body. We all can.
We would have to probably be hypnotized, I would think.
Yeah, I don't remember
any of that. It took me a long time. I've always had that memory, but it always seemed like something that I saw or observed, and then I think I was in probably my early 30s, and I realized.
I have crib memories. I remember being like 3 years old, knowing I was adopted, knowing my mother was a crackhead. Like, I just knew...
You had your awareness early. You're aware of your awareness.
I was very aware, but I remember like being in the crib and her sneaking to come visit me because somebody let her in the house, and she was able to sneak a few glances at me. I remember her holding me, and that was it. And then she had to like rush back out before my grandmother came home. It was just like.
I feel like this like kind of eliminates memories though. Like we just absorb like so much information daily. I feel like it just becomes too much for your brain to just maintain all these memories and these moments that you have experienced, and I think just certain things just started to be replaced because I feel like I can't remember that far back. I can remember like bits and pieces of my middle school and like even high school, but like I wish I could remember that. I want to be hypnotized and I want to know.
I want to try it too. Actually,
I want to.
Yeah, they have regressive hypnotherapy. It's expensive, but it's
I will pay that.
Like past life. I feel like my memory is pretty good. I pretty much know what was going on in this lifetime. Like I remember. At least from 4 and up. Like, I know what kindergarten was about, first grade, second grade, third grade. I remember all them fucking shits. Like,
I be forgetting what I did yesterday, but I remember shit from far back. Let me explain.
I will not remember.
It's ridiculous.
But actually what I did when I was in 10th grade and what I wore, and like, what was the thing back then in 5th. Yeah, I know all that.
This past Saturday was actually one of 2 moments that I kind of had, like, they're definitely one of the most memorable moments I ever have in my entire life. So Saturday morning, I literally woke up with a smile on my face. It was the first thing I did when I woke up. The breeze was like perfect. The sunlight was beaming into my room, just perfectly. And like the one thought in my mind, the first thought in my mind was just gratitude. I was grateful to be alive. I was grateful to have the opportunity to express myself creatively. And I was just grateful for everything I ever experienced, like whether it be the good and the bad. And after that moment, I felt like a release. I felt like I let go of all the chips on my shoulder, all the hate I had for people, all the anger I had for people in my past, and I just felt free. And that's how I feel currently. And I kind of feel even more confident about my existence going forward because I felt like those things were weighing me down. Early on in this podcast, the main reason I went so hard and studied so much how to edit audio and went so hard to find the studio was because I was doing it to get back and prove to the people who didn't believe that I could do it. But I feel like I progressed, but not as far as I'm going to progress because I released myself of those chains, and I just feel lighter, and I feel great. Like I feel like this has been like the best week of my life because I just feel like free. I guess that's freedom. And the second moment I had was it was really interesting.
What? Tell us. We're on the edge of our seats.
I kind of got really emotional about it.
I feel it. It's so weird, but I like felt it. It was weird.
Really?
Like when he was talking about it, like I felt like my eyes well up, and
yeah,
I felt that.
So,
wow.
Audio listeners, you can't see me. Video listeners, I don't know if you know, but I go to the gym. I go to the gym a lot. I see a lot of people that I see regularly, and I know people there. There's one guy that I see there a lot. We never spoke, but we've always just exchanged eye contact. And he was looking at me throughout my entire workout on Tuesday. I just noticed every time he was there in the background, he was just staring at me. And I was like, okay, this guy's about to ask me for money. He's about to be a creep, some shit. I don't know what's about to happen. He about to ask me to train him or something. And he called me in the locker room, and he was just like, I know you probably noticed me staring at you, but you look exactly like one of my friends who passed away, who used to work for me.
Oh, wow.
Like you're like a spitting image of him. And I was just blown away because I thought you were him. And seeing you just put me at peace. And I just was happy to see him again through you. So, and he just thanked me for, I guess, existing. He just said thank you, but he didn't say for what. And he started like tearing up while he's saying this to me, and it made me feel weird because like I didn't do anything. I'm just me. But for me to be, I guess, that reminder of who he lost, and to be, I guess, a spinning image, it was an honor, first of all, and I don't know, because like that's like what I really want to do. I want to be like that form of like solace and escape for people, and like that moment for me to even do it without trying, me just being how I look was just like it meant the world to me. And I want to like, I don't want to obviously take the place of his best friend or whatever like that, but we're gonna be working out together more often. And it's gonna be like a bond. It was just like so unexpected. And I've always seen him looking at me, but he I guess he felt the comfort and the courage to come up to me whatever day that was, Tuesday. And I just wanted to express that because that was really a life-changing moment for me. I've gotten multiple interactions like this in the past where like people say I look like somebody or I remind them of somebody, but they never remember who. But for someone to specifically remember someone who was so close to them and to express that to me, it was just an honor, and it really, really affected my life and changed my life. And it just meant the world to me. That's so cool. I had to express that because it was an important moment for me. So
that's beautiful.
Yeah. I didn't want to like ruin the mood or anything. Get emotional, but
didn't. We did not.
Yeah. Do you would the room agree that there's like a spiritual warfare going on? Mm-hmm. And I feel like the spiritual warfare, the exact definition of it is that Christians believe that demons and evil spirits are said to intervene in human affairs, and I was thinking about like the political climate of this country, and these people are just so evil, like Trump. Do we feel like these aren't maybe their actual beliefs, but evil spirits inhabiting them and using them as catalysts to destroy the world? Or is it just who these people are?
I would say it's just who they are, but I could be wrong.
I don't know.
I could be wrong.
I don't know either. I definitely think that demonic warfare is real, but I think it's easier to say Trump is a demon than to just admit that white supremacy is a wicked system. It's easier to call him a demon because a demon insinuates that he's not human. Yeah. As opposed to saying humanity, there's ugliness within humanity. So I'm on the fence with that statement.
But even like with like climate change, I got you. Is this like the world's like revenge against us for fucking it up? Is it just like I don't know.
How is it the world's revenge if it was incited by humanity?
Yeah, this is its
way. I think it's how you mean to say Earth.
Earth, yeah, like
mother. Is this Mother's Earth way of saying, sure. Yeah, I can kiss my ass for not taking care of me when I give you everything you need to survive and live, and like, 'cause it's very true. Like, that's one thing the Bible. I'm not a Bible thumper whatsoever, but I do believe there's probably like maybe 3 books you should probably attend to the most, and the rest you take with a grain of salt, or you look to it as encouragement and strength, because the Bible has a lot of tales of encouragement and strength and courage, and just being like that fierce warrior, because the Bible speaks about slavery as if it's nothing, and masters, and always respecting your master as a slave. So it's just like people like Trump who use the Bible and they the people in state who use the Bible to get their agendas across, like banning abortion and making everything pro-life and everything like that. Spiritual warfare, demons in dozens and dime bags of crack. I don't know. At this point, it really is. It's a little bit of everything, I feel like.
Yeah.
It's
Is there any hope? Everything. Is there a light at the end of the tunnel?
Yeah. Of course there is.
Okay, so it's just like, if there's light at the end of the tunnel, but what kind of light is everybody looking for? And I think
stability, peace, comfort.
Do you really want peace? And what is peace?
You're describing
to you?
A utopia.
Yeah, like,
that is a utopia for sure. But, like, I feel like that's what the average person would say.
And this is my thing, we look to these movies and it's always a hidden message. And every movie about utopia, they always crash it down to get back to chaos on some level, to get that real feeling of people being humans with emotion and rawness. So it's just like, what do people want? Do you want utopia or do you want realness? Do you want emotion? Do you want the shits and the giggles? Like,
I want the world to be how it was when I was a kid.
How was it? Because it was even more fucked. How
it was
baby?
The same. That was just your perspective at the time.
Yeah, right. From my perspective. You know what I mean? I want my perspective to be reality.
But you can have a childlike perspective. That's a choice.
That is a choice.
You can choose to have a childlike perspective. Reality was still reality when you were a child. The difference was your perspective. You can always have a childlike perspective. Like, interestingly, before I left and I came back to the States, there was a ladybug in my room, and I believe in animal totems, and I believe that animals are spiritual messengers. And so the ladybug was in the room, and I looked up what the ladybug totem meant, and it was childlike, to create a childlike experience. And I agree. Sometimes, yes, I know that I'm not always going to feel like a child, but sometimes I do feel like a child. And some people even tell me, like, oh, you don't look your age. You look really young. And I feel like it's because my soul is very childlike. And, like, I'm not childish. I'm very grown. But my soul, like...
But there's nothing wrong with living in your childhood, because when you're a child, you're fearless. And I always feel like people
and you're open. You're more open to,
You're more receptive to things. So it's like, when you're a child, it's like you go to the playground, you want to be friends with everybody. It's not, but when you're an adult, it's just like, well, I can't do this. And like, it's like, no, sometimes you have to be reminded to, like, dip back into your childlike essence and let that lead you forward in life.
Absolutely.
So like that political correctness, like, I feel like when you're a kid, you just say whatever, like, oh, you're ugly to your face. But as like you get older, like, you just have that thing in the back of your head, like, oh, I can't say that. I don't want to offend people.
But then I feel like now as an adult, the childlike ability is more beautiful because, like, yeah, as a kid, you'll be like, you're ugly. But as an adult, you'll be like, no, you have a beauty. Like, it's different. You have a more,
both
like,
are true.
A more developed childlike ability. Your choice to be a child comes with more of the knowledge of adult. Like, I honestly feel like I am the trifecta of, like, I'm grown, I'm a child, and I'm an elder at the same damn time. My soul is old, like, wicked old. I have thousands of generations within my bloodline. My DNA is old as hell. And, like, I feel like I carry that wisdom of multiple, like, what do they call it? Mother, maiden, and crone, right? Like, I'm the mother, the maiden, or the maiden, the mother, and the crone, right? Which is the youth, the woman, and the elder. So I'm all of that at the same damn time. So I could say, like, no, you're not ugly. I don't think anybody's ugly. I feel like everybody has their beauty. So
yeah, that was just an example of a kid.
No, I know, and I'm playing on that example. I'm not saying that you think that way, but
I still remember a kid told me that, and I wanted to punch him in his face. But I don't know. I feel like there is. I don't know what the light at the end tunnel is, but I feel like leading up to that is going to be a lot of chaos. I feel like climate change is going to start affecting the way animals behave.
Real chaos.
I feel like herbivores are going to become carnivores. I think about this all the time. Every time I see a deer, I feel like he's just going to fucking eat me because there's not enough food because there's a building where he used to eat. So I feel like a deer. Yo, I am afraid of deers, yo. I feel like
that's an irrational
fear. There was a building where Bambi used to eat.
There's a building where, yeah. Are you kidding me? And then all the fucking toxins.
From Jersey, remember?
And the chemicals in the fucking in the grass.
Damn deer.
Yeah, so they're gonna be like, fuck this, I'm gonna eat you, nigga.
Survival of the fittest. Animals are energetic creatures. You think that way, they're gonna eat you.
I'm fighting back.
All right, cool. But see, like, I ain't gonna have to because I'm not thinking on that frequency. So I'm not even on the radar. Hey. You could say, oh my God, but it's a fact.
I'll test that with a few animals and stuff from fucking mountain lions, cheetahs, tigers, bears. Oh my, I'm not testing that. They're like, oh, no, you're big.
Survival of the fittest. What you gonna eat if you can't eat what you usually eat? something
that's
else.
how you learn to fast.
So this is my thing, because I hate this whole thing of vegan culture. Everybody wants to be a vegan.
I'm thinking about it. Well, pescatarian, not
First
vegan.
of all, it's called
thinking about that too, actually.
moderation. Moderation. If you will kill it, if you can kill it, then eat it, baby.
Okay.
Because this is how the world has started.
Yeah. So man
people,
developed.
Like there's people who like to say like we was with herbivores when civilization first started, and then motherfuckers got smart and learned how to kill a buffalo somewhere down the line. They started eating meat. Moderation. There's nothing wrong with eating meat, vegetables, starches, and all that. It's just about moderation. Your intake of like moderation. And when has that gone out the window? I'm not against people who are vegan, but it's just like, you do know you're killing the plant when you dig that bitch out the soil, right? Yeah. Like, if everything is living and breathing, what's the difference? So why is it okay to eat spinach and kale and shit? That shit was in the soil with roots in the ground. Roots in the ground.
Yeah, believe it or not, you need protein.
For us to,
and that's why God made cows and steaks. And what happened was he ain't expect for motherfuckers to keep fucking all their life and making all these babies.
Yo, live so long.
By the way,
like that's what happened. That's what fucked up. We overpopulated. Like that wasn't the expectation for us.
We overbreeded.
I think overpopulation is a myth, because if it wasn't meant to happen, it wouldn't have happened. Like, I believe that if God allowed it, it's because it was meant to happen.
I do believe as many people on this earth, it's just that the animals wasn't catching up. Like we was coming faster than the animals was coming. Like, and that's why
literally
what's that Oregon Trail when motherfucker Johnny Appleseed had to put the apples on the where people could live and eat apples. I was watching Family Guy, so don't quote me. So I'm grabbing that piece of history out of Family Guy's ass, okay, people?
There's some facts there, though.
It's still a fact. Some facts there. So it's just like the population was going to starve off at one point or another. Let's be real here. The niggas got smart about genetically moderate, chickens and shit. And that's fine. But, eat your chicken hoe, eat your fish, eat your steak.
Yo, by the way.
Eat all of that.
I do feel better when I don't eat meat.
My thing is, because all of
I'm not giving
GMO.
up seafood, though.
With all the stuff they put in the meat
Give
and
up
everything.
the oysters,
But my thing,
no, oysters are fabulous, and stop it.
for real, you need to chill. Like,
Yo, okay.
if I want a farm, because if I had a farm, my own little chickens, I would have no problem raising my pigs and stuff and killing them and eating them, because they was raised with love.
I would love to see you kill a pig. I feel like you do it mad violently.
Oh my God.
I'll do it violently. Be like, come here, little.
They say pigs are really smart.
They are.
Like they're really
smart.
The ones you're
like
going to
the
eat, you
smartest
just
dogs,
don't name
smarter.
them. But you got to let them know from birth that they here for food. Like, you going to live until I'm hungry.
You got to tell them that every day.
Oh my God.
By the way, I was watching this interview.
Bacon.
Not an interview. I meant to watch the interview, but a clip from an interview that Dr. Sebi's kids did. And it just made me think about protein powder differently.
Yes,
He simply said, like, yeah, this is white powder made in a factory, and, like, you're putting it in your body. I'm just like, what the fuck am I doing? I threw all my protein powder out. Like, it was vegan protein powder, too. And I was just like, what the fuck am I doing?
Vegan.
So I
Plant-based.
It was plant-based, yeah.
But why?
Because he freaked me out. He was like, like, it's white powder. It's like, I think he kind of compared it to, like, cocaine or something like that. And I was just like, yeah, what's my alternative now?
Well, what I want to say, like, all that medical marijuana, like, I'm against medical marijuana. Anytime the government get their hands on some shit,
they
it's
fuck
like,
it up.
Yeah, that shit lace.
Like, I'm okay, like, y'all out here fucking up my weed. My high do not be the same no more.
Not
When
at
I
all.
was getting that good old Jamaican weed from the Bronx, up in Freeman and all that Gun Hill, I was a good high. Now I be like, okay, I'm high. I can't move sometimes. Or I'm like, it's just really weird out here.
I want to speak about they. Do you believe there's an organization somewhere in the world sitting around a table just like this, making all decisions that goes on in the world?
They're called the family.
New World Order. I don't know.
Okay, every time
So
somebody
who's they?
says New World Order, the Denver Airport conspiracy, in the Denver Airport, there is a statue that says under this here plaque is a time capsule that should be open for the residents of the New World. But it doesn't say New World Order is another word after the world for the year 2093 or 2092.
Wait, what?
Everybody YouTube the creepiest Denver airport conspiracy theory. And even in that airport, on top of the plaque, we spoke about this before. No, I never said it on the show. On
I wish
top
you didn't.
of the
Now
plaque,
they're listening.
Okay, yeah. On top of the plaque, in the airport, there's 4 murals, and in these 4 murals is a depiction of, and my creative mind is you have the death of the 4 women of the culture: Hispanic, Asian, Black. And there was another lady in caskets, and on top of them is all the children of the world and all types of shit. There's another mural where you have like maybe a Stalin or Hitler kind of representation. And there's like dead babies and shit under his boot. It's like a real, and mind you, the government has to approve all of this artwork before it gets even into the airport, because that is a government funded building. And on top of all that, they saying like it's like 1,500 something yards, whatever, of shit under the airport, where employees actually heard like kids crying and shit. It's really dope though. But
that's a YouTube video?
Yeah.
Dope.
Damn it, YouTube.
I'm about to watch that.
Yeah, and I don't mean like dope in the sense of like, I'm a real big like, I love a mystery. I love the mysteries of America.
Theorists.
Not even conspiracies. The mysteries of especially America, or just the world in general. Like, but America has some of the dopest mysteries in itself. Like just things that's happened even from like
Area 51.
Yeah, Area 51, Roanoke, like that's even it was American Harvester, but that shit's a real story too. Like a whole village just disappeared and all this types of shit, and it's just like the New World Order. And it's because you said that. When we think about the Denver conspiracy, like it's always something in play.
Have y'all heard of the King Alfred plan?
The what?
The King Alfred plan.
No.
It was a CIA-led scheme supporting an international effort to eliminate people of African descent. Specifically, it defined how to deal with the threat of a black uprising in the United States. Do you,
I believe.
I feel like that's real.
Course.
I just didn't know it had a title.
Right.
The King Alfred plan. Yeah, like when I read that and I did a little extra deep dive, and I'm just like, they really fear us. Like even outside of like our influence, I feel like it's just like our energy. It's undeniable. Like
I think it's more than just energy. I think it's because we know real chaos and we bring chaos.
We bring that smoke.
It's not even about the smoke and like if we want to go back into history books and we want to believe that there was a times that we ruled the earth and we ruled this world, you think we was the nicest people to rule the world? No, we was some of the most nastiest to rule the world. It's like everything, what was once up will go down, and what was once down will go back up.
Yeah.
This is just our turn to go through the bullshit. But we will rise and be those again.
It's happening. Whether they want to try to, right? Whether they try to control that or not.
It's bigger than just because black men have big dicks. You know, some people like to use that as the starting practice of why the white man hates us so much.
That's part of it.
I mean, it's definitely part of it.
Stop hating.
They did actually castrate a lot of black men because of that kind of sense of intimidation.
I'm sure they did.
Oh, they did.
I don't know if white men dicks look like. I've never been down that road. I've seen enough porn to know. I thought everybody was on a 11 playing field because a lot of you black men ain't got no big dicks neither.
That's a fact.
So y'all want to be sitting here talking about if that was the case, it would be more of you motherfuckers running around here, and y'all not. And
well, them niggas, like those type of niggas, probably like
they always give themselves away.
They got close ties to their slave
masters. They always tell you.
They got close ties to their slave masters.
Americans, maybe they're all in Africa or something. And this goes to show y'all, some of you Americans, you do not come from the Congo, baby. Right from here.
What do you feel about cancel culture? You are so outspoken. As your platform grows and your reach grows, people obviously will be against certain things you say and may try to come for you and try to cancel you. How do you feel about that?
I wish. Like, I wish you would. You could never cancel me. Okay. Like, you can have your perspective. Don't expect me to validate that shit. Like, people have tried to come for me already as is. And I'm like, you know what? All press is good press. Whether you shitting on me, you trying to shit on me, it's really only as valid as I give it energy. So it's like, you really think I'm going to give you energy when you're trying to cancel me? You can't motherfucking cancel me. I'm everything and nothing at the same damn time. Are you dead serious? Yeah. Please try to cancel me.
If you ain't give me that, you ain't popping, son.
Yeah, like, come on. I wish. I mean, come on. Like, I think about it as, and I know it's superficial, but I love the Kardashians because I do. I love them, and I dislike them at the same time because I think that they're birds. But then, like, I respect it because
I love me a good bird bitch.
They organize.
They're birds, but they're like,
they're organized.
They know what the fuck they're doing. You know what I'm saying? And you can't, as a woman, I can't not respect a woman's hustle in any and every way, shape, or form. There's a lot of birds that I like. I talk about the Kardashians because these are women who are loved and hated at the same damn time. And, like, how many times have we tried to cancel or have society and culture try to cancel the Kardashians? They ain't going no motherfucking where. On the other hand, when you try to cancel them, they come back harder. And they
foresee it happening. Like
I feel like they legit have like some good psychics on their side. Or
that bitch is a whole witch. I love Chris.
Everything they do.
Oh my god,
she be lighting candles. I know that's right.
But but that's what they do. So they've even spoke about that before. Like where they Chris has spoken about that. I think it's one of her books. Like she used to sell freaking candles and shit like that. Talk about like. Chris does candle magic.
Oh my!
Makes so much sense.
It's just like when you say these things about people, like some people who are really out here in this world and they really do have the. It's a lot of magic going. That's why I keep saying it's a lot of magic.
That's validation
going on.
for
I don't
me.
think they're
That's
authentic at all, though.
Me,
like I feel like everything they do is for attention.
But it
for
doesn't.
That.
It don't matter because Chris is the elder,
head honcho.
Right. She wants to sustain her legacy through her kids.
But it's more than that. Like she's the one who does it for them. Like if they like kids on their own, that's cool. But it's mama. It's your mama who protects you. It's grandmamas. It's grandmama's prayers sometimes who make sure you get back home at night.
Listen, they could be good people, but from my perspective as an outsider who tunes into what they do occasionally, I feel like everything they do is disingenuous in a way because I feel like
I think except for Kim right now for some reason, and I feel like people
Kim,
do not want to give Kim her credit.
She's getting people out of prison.
But it's just like she's in. And I want to say this real quick. It just goes back to. Who do you think is the devil and who you think God is? Because, and I feel like this is what Jay and Bey and Kanye and Kim kind of like, it's a real battle with that right now in my eyes and how I like see certain things because I'm just into that world. So don't, blame me for the shit I'm into. But as I see it now, you have two people who are really trying to affect change in America. And I'm not saying Jay and Bey is not, but they're also kissing another oppressor's ass. You want to get into Africa, but Africa has so much shit corrupt within their own government. Who, and some of these government officials are black. They're not white government officials. They're black African government officials fucking up their own country. Because if that is the country with the most natural, expensive resources, why are they the poorest and cannot even fucking export? They don't even get paid to export none of their fucking supplies. We rob them continuously every day.
Yeah.
And then you have these two people here, and one, he's crazy. He be wearing his Make America Great hats again, but it's just some black people know they're not from Africa, and we need to start coming to terms with that. Yes, the first man is born in Africa, and we all descendants of African, but there's also people after they migrated and left Africa 3 million fucking years ago. They don't identify as African because they were in America. They are the indigenous tribes of America, and some of us come from those tribes. What is so wrong with making America great again if we was great before the white man came and starved himself out? If it wasn't for black people coming back over here and showing them how to make fucking something simple as rice.
But Trump is referring.
Drake,
Trump is referring to a time where white people were considered like they were the minority.
But that doesn't mean Kanye's referring to that time.
So,
and this is my thing.
People
with the whole
need
Trump thing.
context.
Trump was a racist before he got into fucking office, and y'all gave him a pass this whole time.
Sometimes things need to be said.
So upset now?
Kanye needs to clarify where he stands
never felt
specifically.
like the president really ran the country. Why are we feeling like Trump is really running this shit when he's just a fucking puppet to the largest scheme at pan?
Kanye is not here. He says all the time he's a futurist. He lives in whatever. I think he needs to slow down.
Okay, but
I think
Da
he
Vinci.
needs to.
Da Vinci was a fucking. They wasn't from. I hate to get passionate, but they wasn't from this time.
They thought
so
ahead.
If that's the case, they thought Da Vinci thought ahead.
They
Tesla thought ahead.
Oh,
he thought about fucking
Tesla.
The way he thought about electricity. It's
There's
still
no way he could have thought in that time.
And he still doesn't get the credit that he
came from
deserves.
another dimension
Let's be
and
clear.
existed in ours.
He literally created a time travel machine.
But let's be clear.
Kanye's not. Social media got here. So then you have these people
Bruh.
who are not from this world. So why do we give Kanye? That's my thing. I want people to understand this. Why do we give Kanye, a black man, so much struggle just because he's different?
Because he owns
And
it. He puts himself to be that martyr for the struggle.
And so did Da Vinci, and so did Tesla, and so did everybody
Right, and what
else.
comes to that?
So
You want to be a leader?
We call them greats.
How does Kanye put himself in that position?
He openly puts himself in the line of
Because
fire for
he
these
speaks
discussions.
his mind,
We're
because
having
he-
this discussion
he
because he wore that hat.
Because slavery, at the end of the day,
It's a hat.
if some Africans burnt their boats so they wouldn't be slaves, then guess what? Slavery was a choice.
I'm still getting that new Kanye album on the 27th.
Kanye wore that hat, okay?
Okay.
But who knows what the context of wearing that hat was? Right? Like,
we don't know the context behind him wearing the hat. Maybe he does see a bigger, because at the end of the day, you want America to be great, because America is not great as a country, because we're still owing other countries trillions and trillions of dollars. We don't even have our own fucking natural resources.
Not everyone is as smart as you, so I think you need. That's why. That's the responsibility. No, this is where the responsibility comes in for a celebrity and someone who has a position of power. You need to clarify certain things.
No,
you need to pick a side.
Not if some people
you need
just
to pick
aren't
a
up
side.
to your
Socrates
speed.
did not clarify shit.
Then you just wait.
Socrates did not clarify shit. They was thinkers. They thought. They said. And today they're these renowned fucking people that we hold at the highest of levels.
Then you're just a false prophet. You're putting yourself in that position because he's putting himself in that God-like mentality, that leadership mentality.
You're not putting your thinking in a different perspective.
Kanye didn't make Kanye.
If I was born
Kanye has
from
a
God,
fan base.
then guess what? I have a God-like mentality. If God made me, then why can't I be God-like?
Yeah.
All I'm saying is like, you need to pick a side at certain times.
No,
and I
you
think
don't.
you do.
You do not need to pick a side. You never have to pick a side.
But in his position specifically,
He's
his
on the
fans,
side of
the age of his fans range from ages 14 to whatever
Did
age
Jay-Z
we are
pick
now.
a side when he started working for NFL? Like, it's so much to be.
There's more context to this situation than just what was on the headlines.
And then with that being
we don't know
said,
this is the
there's
deal.
so much context to what Kanye's doing than what we know.
That's what I'm saying. Everyone needs to just come out on the forefront and be honest with their intentions.
But that's not the way.
You got time for that shit now.
Especially if you know people are not going to be receptive. If he said all what he said and people still twisted it and took it forever how they want to take it, because he said 500 years. Slavery's still going on today. We're still mental slaves. If you have a 9 to 5, you're a fucking slave.
I agree.
New slave. And how many albums, how many conversations? There's so much history of Kanye speaking Kanye. So what more do you want? What more do people want?
And people who
like,
are bipolar,
in honest dialogue like this, like a real drawn out conversation that's clear.
He doesn't owe
you. Forget,
he doesn't owe you.
He doesn't owe me, but it's his responsibility as a celebrity.
Schizophrenic.
No,
bipolar,
it isn't.
schizophrenic.
It's a responsibility.
Who made these rules up?
Schizophrenic.
Says
When you're
who?
bipolar, schizophrenic, you already have a hard time communicating, because in your head, your mind is going 5,000 words per minute, but you can only get 200 out.
Plus, you're mad famous, and people come at you in every single direction, and then you're trying to get your point across.
Got it. So let me ask y'all this question. So let's say y'all work
Yeah.
to a position of power where you could reach millions of people around the world. So you're just going to retain all the information and knowledge.
It's funny
You're not going to share it to the world?
You know, you say that now, but even as you have this podcast, there's no way you're going to put all the information you know out day in and day out, because sometimes you forget, sometimes you're not thinking about it, and sometimes your mind is focused on other things than being a fucking conscience to the people. Because if you want to be a real conscience to the people, the show will be deeper. You know what I'm trying to say? It will be a whole.
Yeah.
So it's if you want to talk about real responsibility, freeing people and doing all types of shit, like it's a responsibility, but do you really have the balls to do it? Because nobody will like you no more after you do it. Because if you're really about to open people's mind, the shit you would say nobody want to hear.
Yeah.
And literally, you
They're
said
not ready
today.
for it,
You said today we don't do enough to be woke, to be real, to be honest. You said that today.
And you
blaming Kanye? How?
He's not doing enough.
How, Sway? So you're not doing enough. But Kanye,
I'm doing what I can. I'm being honest and candid every time.
Exactly.
In his way, but
it's not good enough for you.
It's not good enough. No, it's not good enough for me.
And there you go.
But
I'm personalizing.
But you know that you're not doing good enough for yourself. Are you projecting onto Kanye what you feel like you could do? Because how are you making it Kanye's responsibility when you're not doing enough?
He say as a celebrity, and then you know,
like,
you're a celebrity right now.
You are.
That's a
No,
cop
I'm
out.
not.
You a hood celebrity.
You have a platform. You have a platform.
I have a platform, and I do what I can every episode to express my experiences and my perspectives weekly.
And is that enough? When you admitted today that you said I could do more to be more conscious.
Fam, look, are y'all
acknowledge when you can do more? That's all.
I can't
acknowledge when you can do more.
And
right?
Is Kanye not doing that? No.
Why sick?
I'm using Kanye as the example as the celebrity. Celebrities need to do more. When you work that position to reach millions, you should use the opportunity to educate.
You putting too much pressure.
And why?
Hold on,
how is that pressure?
Education starts in a house.
That's just human being.
Education starts in a home. It's not the world's responsibility to raise your children, in a sense, or to raise you, because the world is something else. It's a fucking paradigm. It's different. It's the jigsaw box from Hellraiser. That's the world. So you want to keep messing with the things. Depending on how you stroke the box, it's depending on what you're gonna get. Ooh.
Write that one down.
Put that on a T-shirt. We make a new merch soon.
Tell how you stroke the box. That's what you got.
And also,
Stop
you know
it.
what's crazy about being a celebrity and celebritydom and being in the highlight in that space? We don't know what that's like. We're here, but like honestly, even me, where I was at, like when I was in college, I was a college activist, and we were in a group, Students Revolutionary Coalition, and we would receive threats from police, and we were a small group. Imagine trying to speak your voice as a celebrity. Yeah. Your family getting threatened. We don't know what the fuck Kanye.
Isn't Leonardo DiCaprio like the spokesman for global climate out here and shit like that? Been talking about this shit for forever now.
I don't know.
Nobody give a fuck about him, but yeah.
But we don't know.
Like you trying to say like people don't do their job, but there's tons of celebrities who actually do speak up for the world.
But I feel like us, like representation, like us, like people of color speaking about that from a position of power, like it's more relatable and digestible because people listen to Jay and Kanye.
But there's still threats to us doing what we do. Yeah. Don't tell me that you've never felt fear. You've never felt intimidation. You've never wondered, are they listening? Like, are they behind me? Are they watching?
Once they really start listening to you, you will cease to exist.
You're going to feel it. You're going to feel it. You're going to see it. You're going to wonder. You're going to ask yourself. I think about that often in the work that I do. Like, am I threatened? Is my life threatened? Is my family's life threatened?
Once they get
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it is different between.
They see you as a threat, like.
Right. Yeah. We don't know what the fuck Kanye's going through with the whole.
You can't show fear. Like, you can't back down.
And
like,
this is why I love Kim, because I feel like if it wasn't for Kim, they would have cloned my man Kanye a long time ago.
It's true.
I feel like Kim keeping him on his medication, keeping him quiet, keeping him busy.
Maybe he is. I don't know.
Well, he low key and humble, so maybe he is on something.
New album coming on the 27th. I'm excited.
So it's like one of those things I feel like, because you have people out there. I do believe that the government, it is the whole clone thing out there, and it's a whole bunch of shit that was the MK Ultras and all types of shit. Like you watching the game and your favorite basketball player just goes stuck on stupid. Like he just turns into a robot. Either they on some real good, some drugs. Or there's something wrong, like they really are clones. Did you see the Al Roker thing when he was just talking? He just sat there for like 10 minutes, like, I want to say maybe 30 seconds, just on stuck, like, wouldn't just like, then he went right back to regular program.
I saw a video of Lil Baby. He was trying to do an interview and talking about his most recent album. He was drugged up. That's not the same thing.
But they're drugged. Yeah, it's not the same thing.
But yeah, they're
A$AP,
drugging us.
I think ASAP's gonna come back a clone. It's quiet, right? We haven't heard shit about him in Sweden. Even what happened with 21.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, I didn't know. I've been on.
What happened with 21? 21's not a clone. 21.
But some people have been saying that. Like,
Rocky dropped a new song. He's good.
I don't know.
21's not a clone.
I don't know.
I would cry right now if you tell me they got to 21.
But I'm just saying it's questionable, right?
No,
like all this shit.
21. They didn't get to 21.
I don't know, but that's what I'm saying. I don't
21
know.
got money, He was able to buy himself out real quick. That's what that was. Now, ASAP, I don't know.
I'm glad.
But that's his business. I don't like. Yeah,
you don't like ASAP.
It's not that I don't like ASAP. It's
Harlem.
You don't.
It's not that I don't like ASAP. I love ASAP's music. Like I'm a real ASAP fan. It's not just ASAP Rocky. ASAP is in the group.
Like
I'm a fan
Ferg
of
is better.
No,
I'm sorry. Ferg is a better rapper.
No, he the fuck is not. What are you talking about? I'm sorry.
My favorite,
way.
I'm not gonna lie. I think probably 12V. Like I feel like people sleep on him, but I like 12V. I love them all. But
serious?
I do.
No, not you.
Don't be judgmental.
Ferg is not a better rapper than A$AP Rocky.
All,
what are you talking about?
What?
I'm dead serious. Like in terms of
Ferg is better than who?
Rocky. In terms of like bars, like flow.
No.
Rocky is more melodic. He could do the singing shit, this shit on LSD.
Rocky's
I love that shit. Rocky got the swag. He got the swag rap. Ferg got the bars, the flow. Did you hear the most recent project, Floor Seats? He was like, that was Biggie. We got.
I saw him at the Apollo not too long ago when he was like teamed up with Revlon for their Step Out of Line line. No. I
like Ferg.
I love Ferg, but he is not better than A$AP. He's not as diverse. He's not as multifaceted.
We're never gonna put them against each other because
we don't.
We love them both.
We love them both.
It's an opinion.
In my opinion, Rocky over Ferg. I like them both, but come on, no way.
I was like Rocky, 12V, Ferg.
Will you come back so we can like severely like and deeply dive and discuss music? Because we're actually running out of time right now.
Right. Okay.
So
call them all.
We have a segment on this podcast called "Don't Sleep," where basically we recommend to the audience something they shouldn't sleep on. And my "Don't Sleep" this week is strictly to the men right now. Don't sleep on what I'm about to say. Our masculinity is not being threatened; it's actually being powered by women. So I feel I feel like a lot of men just the ego, man. I have it too. I feel you. I'm with you. Sometimes you feel like, maybe you can't shake it. Just empower our women, support them. And if they talking to you and they're giving you advice and they're educating you, just listen. They're not trying to come for you. They're not gonna try to take away your manhood. They're just trying to give you some knowledge. So, men, we need to do better. Listen to our women. Respect them. Treat them right. Treat them how you treat your mothers. Treat them how you treat your sisters. And just do better, because I see some crazy shit. I saw a fucking picture on Twitter. This chick, she's actually in New York. She was just dancing on the dude, and then the picture was her, like, some dude, like, nutted on her. Like, it was just some straight crazy shit. And I'm just like, yo, you niggas just doing too much. Like, you're too horny. You're doing too much. Like, you just acting crazy, and you just looking dumb. So just chill out. Treat our women right. Respect them, support them, empower them, and love them. So, Lady Coco.
You know what? You know what you don't sleep on? Don't sleep on the power of the PUSSY, okay? Because it has every nigga out here wanting to die and try. So, don't sleep on your pussy witches out here, because it's real. Real. That's my don't sleep for today. Don't sleep on your coochie powers. Don't sleep on your feminine abilities out here to finesse. Because it's finessing season, and let's get the finessing.
Don't finesse me, though. I'm broke.
It's more than just getting money from a finesse. The finesse is bigger than the bag.
Yeah. Leave me alone. Coco, do you have anything people shouldn't sleep on?
I would say don't sleep on doing the inner work that you know you need to be doing. A lot of us know we have to do something as far as, like, delving deeper into our anxieties, why we react to things, why we react to people in a certain way. So if you're aware and you haven't been doing it, now's the time, please. Thank you.
Yes, Virgo season, now is the time. Get busy. It's time to work hard on yourself.
Yeah, you have to.
My fellow Libra, Christy, do you have anything people shouldn't sleep on?
I was at first going to say don't sleep on rim jobs, and I was like, that's OD.
Got it.
I'll go say don't sleep on personal freedom and pursuing your personal freedom.
We need to really have a sex episode.
October. We'll do that.
Freaktober.
Copy.
Yeah, I hope I get the invite for that.
You welcome back. You come back anytime. You can just show up.
Every show.
Let me know when I'm on the schedule, because I know y'all also have other guests. But I'm going to say don't sleep on pursuing your personal passion. Don't sleep on what makes you excited, what brings you chills, what makes your heart race and your heart soar. For real, don't sleep on that, because honestly, money is a currency, and because we're energetic beings, it will come if you do not thirst for it, like anything, right? Don't resist what comes when you pursue your passion, please. And also, don't sleep on rim jobs.
There's that.
Word.
Yeah.
We're gonna get into why you want to be on sleep on that.
I have so many questions. Like,
do you want to share right quick?
Do y'all know what that is? Do we know
something with the asshole, right?
Okay.
With the man's asshole.
Wait.
He looks like rim jobs too.
Women get rim jobs, but like I'm talking as a woman.
Really, yeah.
But what do you do with the men's asshole?
You eat that. You eat it.
Oh, so everybody get the ass eat. Toast a salad today, y'all. Don't sleep on it.
Look at his face.
I'm just like,
his whole face
like,
changed.
First episode with Jeff, he was like, "No, I eat the pussy from the back, and my nose still don't touch the ass.
Hell
like,
no,
touch the ass.
I gotta grow. I hear it all the time. Grow up. It's just a fucking asshole. Whatever. Blah blah blah. Cool.
I don't know about all that. I'm just.
If you're giving me head and my legs go up, don't touch my asshole. Like I'm feeling it. I'm in the vibe.
But it's like, if you haven't tried it, why are you denying yourself? What's the point of resistance?
That's very true. I haven't tried it, so I don't know if I don't like it. But I know in my mind,
just don't get on all your
floors. Yeah, hell no. You ain't putting me on my floors, yo. Fuck no. I'm not getting doggy style for you to eat my booty. Fuck out of here. Hell no. Mom, you're listening. I'm sorry.
The visual.
Hell no.
The visual.
Wait, me on my fours? I'm about to chill. I got a whole ass beard. I'm a grown ass man. I'm not getting on my fours. Fuck out of here.
It's okay to admit you be into it.
I'm squatting down when I'm picking stuff up.
Who cares? It's not gay.
It's not gay. No, it's not.
If it's a heterosexual relationship, who gives a fuck? Like, come on, bro.
Whether it's a gay relationship, heterosexual.
I haven't met the woman that's
try it with somebody you trust. I was about to say, try it with somebody you trust.
I don't know where the tongues be at. Yeah.
But you don't know where your asshole be at. What are you
Word.
talking
On my
It's
body.
way worse.
That shit. I think my shit hairy too. I don't know if you want that.
I'm sure.
Listen, the right one, a queen. A queen.
We Libras, but we don't vibe on that level.
Stinky drawers would do
A
it.
queen gonna do what it do, right?
What if I fart in your face like by accident? Like, are we still good after that?
Why?
Like,
Why
Would
must
you
you take
even
it there?
Why you even gotta
Why
go
you even
there?
thinking?
That's
but I'm just saying
cool.
it be happening. Like, I be farting like
During sex?
No.
You fart during
in
sex.
general.
You you fart during sex.
I
Has that
farted
ever-
during sex before. For real. It was silent though. She
Oh.
she probably smelt it, but like
That's probably the
horrible.
worst.
That's
She's not a
horrible.
queen. I'm sorry.
that shit gotta go. Like
She's
I
not
can't. That's dangerous to hold that shit in.
You need to be like, excuse me, babe.
I gotta
And
pull
go-
out, go to the bathroom, and fart and come back.
Yes, that's called.
Squeeze it in. Or
That's
something.
political.
girl.
That's political correctness. The fuck is wrong with you?
Like, you just don't fart.
If
Yo,
a
fam,
motherfucker
I'm-
farts
During
silent
sex.
or otherwise,
Fam, if I gotta fart, I'm farting.
I'm
Fuck out
off
of here.
this.
Fuck out of here.
My husband, ain't no boyfriend. What the? I better have a motherfucking ring on my finger if you passing gas when we making love.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
dumb.
First of all, I don't care if I'm married, but you shouldn't be farting when you're having
That's
sex.
dusty.
Yo, fuck out of here, yo. I gotta, yo. All right.
That's dusty.
I'm farting every time. I don't care.
No, you shouldn't be farting
Well,
during sex.
It's not okay. It's not a regular occurrence. It was a one-time thing. Fuck out of here. Y'all judging me
No,
now.
you're making it
No,
seem
we're
as
not
though
judging you.
it's
We're
something
not
that you're
judging
gonna
you.
do if
Yeah,
it
you make it seem
happens.
like
I mean, you
gotta
said
fart during
so.
sex, you're gonna
Chill
fart
out.
like it's nothing.
If
It's
you're
fine.
watching this on YouTube or listening to this, if you fart during sex, please like email us and like
No.
send us your experiences.
I wanna know.
DM
him.
DM
Email-
every woman here and share their
email
experience
him.
with them. No, don't
Stop.
email me because
Email-
I'm gonna look at you like you're
You're
crazy.
the advocate
Email
for
Jeff,
farting during
like,
sex.
Yeah, fart. Let that shit go.
No.
Let
That
it
is
breathe.
not how. That's
Breathe.
not sex.
That's the opposite of breathing.
Y'all
I
from New
don't
York.
wanna breathe
Y'all
your
from New
fart.
York.
That
Y'all
shit
heard
makes me
"Breathe" by
gag.
Fab. Y'all heard the bars.
Enough.
Fart.
Enough.
Let it
Bye.
go.
Move on.
Where can people find you on social media or wherever if you want them to find you?
So our website is www.afrolatinadivina.com. That's where my e-publication is available for download. And my Twitter, Instagram, and other social media handles is at the Christy X. So that's CHRISTYX, the Christy X. So THECHRISTYX.
What's the X like for? What's the significance of that?
Oh, that's a whole episode.
Fuck! Of
There's
course,
so
I wait to
many-
the end.
There's so many levels to the X, but the X is like, X marks the spot. X is questionable.
Heard you.
X is all four directions. If you actually like look at the X, it's actually like north, south, east, west.
X-Men, okay?
X
Like,
woman.
yeah, that.
Yeah.
X is the unknown.
Word.
Triple X.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
come from
so
the world
there's
of,
levels
like,
to
everybody's
X.
man sometimes.
I hope you enjoyed your experience on the Introverted Intuition podcast. I really hope you come back. I want you to come back.
I definitely did.
I
It was
have
fun.
way more questions.
She named October
That's fun.
Freaktober.
Yes.
Freaktober,
Yeah.
She gave us a
y'all.
name, so she has to come
Year,
back.
yo, our birthdays are not far from each other, so we should
Word.
celebrate together. If you enjoyed this podcast, wherever you're listening at, whether it be iTunes, Spotify, wherever, please leave a review. Don't leave a negative review. I mean, you can if you want, but
Leave
I'm gonna judge you.
negative
Why would you?
review. Leave negative.
Yeah, because you love us, you fucking hating
Oh,
ass
you
niggas.
love to hate
But
us.
yeah, wherever you indulge at, please leave a review. If you listen on YouTube or watching this on YouTube, leave a like, leave a comment. Follow us on social media at Introverted Intuition Pod. Follow us on Twitter at Introverted Pod. What else?
Ladies, my birthday is coming up. I am taking DMs for just
Oh,
until September
shit.
16, people.
Ew.
And after, I said ladies. And
Ladies,
after that,
dude, so you could try. If you're good enough, she'll
Cash
fucking
App
answer
They're
you.
gonna
me.
try anyway. Like you don't even
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
say that.
Cash App.
Ladies, if you want feet pics, I'm selling. I got them available.
I've seen your feet. I
Wow.
don't know what you're thinking.
Fuck out of it. When you see
Oh,
my
you
feet.
said feet pics?
Yeah, if they want, I'm trying to get money. All right,
I respect it.
you know what I mean? They out here, they're in high demand.
Maybe gay men want your feet pics. I don't think ladies are
Come
jerking
on.
off to feet pics.
I don't know what ladies be doing.
You can sell your underwear on eBay.
What?
That shit is a market.
Oh, my shit was ready to go.
I got you.
Shaking
What
my
else? We have some events coming up. I'll announce them as I get the flyers. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. Like, I really am super appreciative of all the listeners. We got so many listeners in Jamaica and the Netherlands and all over Europe, all over the fucking world. We're fucking out here. We're great. Introverted Intuition is a great podcast, and when it's only great because of the listeners that we have who continue to support us. And
Thank
we also
you.
have, we have merchandise as well. We got new merch coming in October. So please look out for that. And yeah, as always, thank you. Thank you, Gotham Podcast Studio. Thank you for the listeners. Thank you, Christy.
Yes.
You're great.
Thank you all
Thank
for
you for
creating
coming.
space.
And
creating
thank you for
space.
listening.
Yes.
We love you.